Really? Jump 10 times? God. I just find it stupid. Anything good? Not really. That's been done forever. God. Over a month away with the next one. Show selector. Low gravity hexagons. We'll do a little bit later. Let's start up a game, shall we? So how we all doing tonight? It's been a while. It has been a while. It's been a week, I think, because I didn't have to update any of the show notes because like it was still all set to in chat from last week. Funny. Nah, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, no, we're packing Fall Guys. Because I don't really know. Like, I think Animal Crossing's a decent game to do in chat in. Fall Guys is a great one. I have not played Splatoon in. Was there a Christmas Splatfest? Was the last or was it a Christmas Splatfest? Wasn't there a Mario Splatfest at some point? There we go. I think there was like a Mario Splatfest at some point. Maybe that was the last time I played Splatoon. Whatever it is, it's been a while. I'll say that. So yeah, we're back in Fall Guys, I guess. The game that will be decried dead game. Oh, I forgot I did team game. I do like me the team game. I mean, we even won a few times last time. We won, what, 2 or 3 games? I don't know. I'm still not very good at Fall Guys, but I still enjoy it for what it is. Even though I've now done everything in it. And what else am I gonna do? Hop into war zones? Yeah, right. I mean, I really did like PUBG back in the day. God, back in the day, what was that, like 2016? 2017, maybe? That wasn't even too long ago. I could totally jump back into PUBG if I really wanted to. I mean, I do own PUBG. I think it was one of the free PS Plus games. Well, I was joking about Warzones. God, I just don't want Warzones because of how much space it takes up. It's several gig. It's like 100 gigs at least. But yeah, no, it's been a long week. I'll say that. It's been a long week. But I'm here. I'm back. And, well, we'll probably talk about this again at the end. This might be the schedule, right? I've been hinting for a while now that because of everything going on, I might only do Friday streams. Look at that freaking cat next to me. That looks like a freaking Digimon. You see that thing? Looks like a freaking Digimon. A stamp cat. But yeah, I might just start doing Fridays. I don't know. Right now, everything's up in the air. I start summer classes next week, right around the corner. So anything is possible. I have hopes that everything will turn out fine. And I mean, it may just be I'm very busy. Who knows? Oh, okay, so the stamp... I thought the stamp cat was on our team. I figured, but I didn't know for sure. Alright. Yeah, and it's been a busy week. I don't actually have it down anywhere in today's schedule, but I was waiting all week for that whole Switch Pro thing. Again, I was cautiously optimistic, right? I was cautiously optimistic about the Switch Pro happening this week, right? Because I was like, you know what? It makes sense. I talked about it last week, right? Go watch last week's in chat. But I talked about how, like, it makes sense for them to announce the Switch Pro ahead of E3, because then, like, other studios can talk about their Switch Pro games. Because Nintendo is always the last E3 conference. That just it made sense to me. And, you know, I could see it happening. I know, right? Oh, well, Emily Rogers, trusted leaker. Do we, right? But then there's all the, because there is stuff she's totally gotten right, and then there's stuff she's totally gotten wrong. So yeah, it's, I don't know. And sometimes, like, remember Star Fox Grand Prix? That was supposed to be a thing that a bunch of people were talking about. Hey, Pookie, Kookie, how you doing? Good to see ya. But yeah, remember Star Fox Grand Prix? That rumored Rare game that was Star Fox Star Fox Racing, that was like, you know, this might be interesting. And that was 4 years ago. Haven't been. Don't worry about it. To be fair, neither have I. I've been very busy. Yeah, I made tortillas today. Yep, I was like, you know what? I can make a tortilla, right? Flour, baking soda, salt, water. They were actually pretty good. I mean, it's not like anything amazing, but oh, we got out. I didn't even realize we were out. I had pizza, that's all. That's what I'm thinking tomorrow. I'm thinking pizza tomorrow, maybe Sunday, depending on how things go. But I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I did pizza. I made tortillas today, and then yesterday I made fried rice. I did fried rice and crab ragoons. Oh my! I screwed up the fried rice. I was like, okay, I've got like actual like good ingredients. I went and got a bunch of stuff. I got some sambal. I got some MSG, because, you know, you want it to taste good, and all the rumors about MSG being bad for you are just that, rumors. They're not true at all. So I was like, oh, I got the good stuff. I'm gonna make some good fried rice. It was not great. I'll be honest. I definitely, like, I put too much pepper in it. Because, like, normally you have to, like, really... I'll admit, I don't use freshly ground pepper. I don't. I know I should. But, like, normally you have to really shake the pepper to get some out. Nope. It came out in, like, an avalanche. And I was like, oh, no. At least I didn't oversalt it. But it was okay, but I definitely could have done it better. I want to make some buffalo chicken dip. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I guess I've been cooking a lot recently. Like, a lot more than I normally do. Like, I've been taking more time to actually, like, prepare stuff and spend several hours in the kitchen. My feet hurt like hell from just standing for hours on end. But when you get it right, it's good. It's when you screw it up that it's like, oh no, everything sucks. Let me start baking more. Yeah. My brothers want me to make cookies again. I make some great cookies, like top of the line stuff, and I haven't made them. Probably not this year, honestly. So, like, I know they want me to, like, start making them. They want. I don't know. I remember him asking a while ago, like, not whatever time, not Memorial Day, but whenever we met up, the last time we met up before Memorial Day. Like, real scratch baking, not just box baking. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I don't think... when was the last time I cooked something from a box? Or, like, when was the last time I've cooked box all the time. But when was the last time I baked is what I meant. And I don't know, there is, like, I know there's that thing about, like, oh, well, if you just take, like a box cake and then just add in, like, an extra egg, if it's chocolate, add in some espresso powder, if it's vanilla, add in some almond extract, and it, like, makes it really, and it'll make it really good. Like, just taking those, like, few extra steps to, like, add in some extra flavor to a box will excel it, but you gotta take those extra steps. Yeah. I don't know. I keep it simple. All right. You gotta. Like, that's, what is it? Like, because I get people cooking with, box. Because it saves time. It's like, the things I do are those, concentrates, where instead of buying, like, spending, like, $4 or $5 for, like, a thing of, like, apple juice, you can spend, like, $1, maybe even less than that, to get, like, a thing of frozen concentrate. And while I know some people will be like, oh, well, it doesn't taste the same, it's not as good or whatever, and, like, yeah, that's probably true. At the same time, it's more convenient and it's cheaper. So it's like, yeah, no, I do, that's one I do, right? Just, yeah, I just think it works. I know people have a problem with that. Oh god, the whole thing about just a microwave in general. Like, and there are people who lead crusades against microwaves, and yeah, I'm not, a microwave is fine, right? It's a tool. It's like anything. It can be used right and it can be used wrong. Oh god, I know I've talked about him. That one guy who cooks like 1940s cookbook recipes. I don't watch TikTok, but that's the those are one of the few, like, TikToks I do watch. Is that guy? He posts them all on YouTube, so that's where I see him. But he does, like, 1940s, like, cookbook recipes. Some stuff is even older. Like, I think he did something from, like, the Civil War at one point. And it's all just really old recipes. And those videos are fantastic. I want to try. There was one. Ah, gosh, so close. Which one did I want to try? It wasn't. Was it like a tomato cake or something like that? Where I was like, yeah, I could see how that would work. I think he's what, like, Dylan Hollis or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. I just think that's some good stuff. And I like, I think he's only done one of them, but since he's now posting stuff on YouTube, he does, he's been, like, he's at least done one video of him, like, breaking down the recipe, like, besides for his, like, 1-minute TikToks. But yeah, no, I really great stuff, and I'd love to see more of that. I want to try the chocolate potato pie. Yeah. There's some terrible stuff, but there's some stuff where I'm like, yeah, that sounds good, right? Or it's like, you're just gotta be curious, right? Like, what is this gonna taste like? Like a chocolate potato pie? God, I'm curious, and I'd love to do it one of these days. I've tried weirder things off on stream. Oh god, I'm looking, this was last year sometime. He said it actually turned out pretty good, so it made me wonder. Exactly. Last year sometime, I must have tried this on stream. We did, Pringles. Did Baconator flavored Pringles. They were terrible. But now they've released, they did Baconator, and now they've released, spicy chicken sandwich Pringles, also Wendy's related, and it's like, I don't expect it to be good, but you gotta try it, right? Like, you gotta at least try it. So I've been keeping my eye out for those recently. I haven't found anything as of this moment, but I've been looking. I found those freaking Halo ones again, the burger that taste like ramen, because it finally hit me that, yeah, they taste like beef ramen. Oh god, if we go out, this is it. Yeah, I'm keeping my eye out for Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich Pringles. God, what does this world come to? Honestly, I'm sure they better be definitely better than those freaking hamburger ones. Those hamburger ones were some of the worst chips I've ever had. Like, no joke. Oh god, oh no, 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 no! I think this is where unless everyone else screws up. Oh, this guy made it to the top. So we had one guy who made it through. Yeah, I've been keeping my eye out for anything else I've been keeping my eye out for? Oh, pickle beer, but that's another, I'm working on that one, pickle beer. I've been keeping my ear low to the ground for that one. Nothing's come from that yet. But, I'm working on that. I just like to try weird shit, you know? I had to bake for a project in my AP US history class, and we had to choose a time period, make a children's book, and bring in something to eat from that time period. My partner and I did the Revolutionary War, and I created a gingerbread cake with a caramel sauce. It was amazing. Nice. Did we? Yeah, we did make it. Wow. Ginger. I had so much fun making it because it tasted great. Yeah, that's great. Did I ever, like, besides for like a home economics class, did I ever, it was for the one time I did food in a class was a Spanish class. And I was taking a Spanish class, and it was like, hey, you have to pick a country, write a report on said country, and then bring like some sort of like, oh, we got kicked out. Oh, it didn't show me getting kicked out, and yet we got whatever. And then, yeah, we had to write a report on the country, and then we had to, because it was like a dinner party thing, and it was like, hey, bring like a side dish for a dinner party. And I did plantain chips. I screwed them up making them. And they were terrible. But I tried. God, that was so long ago. Other than that, I've done cookies. I've just brought, like final day of class parties. I've brought in cookies and other weird dessert and other like brownies and whatnot, because I know how to bake. But yeah, no, I don't think we ever did any baking projects. I had to make a lot of videos. I have recreated so many Shakespeare plays, and made like videos out of them. I've done that so many times. Some of them exist on YouTube, but yep. One of my professors still uses as the example for her class to this day. So that one still exists on YouTube. I'm really disappointed my election video doesn't exist anymore. I ran for president of I ran for president for our association back in high school, and I made an election video, and it was a parody of a Game Grumps thing, and it was fucking phenomenal. And I don't have the video. I never put it on YouTube, and I don't have it and I don't have a copy, and I think the copy of it just got deleted, and I think I had it on a flash drive for a while, but that flash drive got lost or something. And yeah, the computer I had it on doesn't exist. Like, I don't have it in, like, the computer broke. But yeah, I did an election video, and it's a parody of a Game Grumps thing. You can find the Game Grumps thing. That's been animated a few times. But yeah, the one thing, the actual video of me doing it, oh god, it had some terrible ADR, but other than that, it was really fucking funny, and I did win off of it. I was actually running for vice president. I ran for vice president because the two presidents before me that I worked under, both were like, don't run for president. Don't make the same mistake we did. Run for vice president. It's so much better. I'm in one YouTube video, but it's not on my channel. It's on my friend's. We tried to make a little skit thing. Yeah. Yeah, I have a few videos up on you. God, I don't remember what else. I know it's that one video, the Shakespeare thing, like a few Shakespeare things. I think there was some presentation I had to film and put online. Anything else? Oh, I'm looking it up right now just because out of curiosity. Yes. Okay, the podcast exists. And yeah, the PSA exists. Wow. Yep. They all still, those things exist. A few high school and college projects. Yep. That's some classic shit right there. Ah, gosh, I've done some stupid shit. I mean, in like the cringy way. Yeah. And of course, all my original like YouTube skits back in the day, when I did live action skits way back in like 2011, those are all gone. I wish I had put those videos on private and not deleted them. Like, I deleted all those videos, and I wish I hadn't. I wish I had just put them on private, because while they are terribly cringy, I don't know. Now, like, 10 years later, I'm like, I wish I could still see those. One in particular. There's one in particular about getting hit by a car that, like, I just was like, yeah, that was so fucking funny. And it was the stupidest fucking thing in the world. But, you know, you're young and you love it, and I just wish I had that on private, but it's gone forever. Yeah. I'm not too beat up over it, but it's like, you just think back. Of course, I deleted it. I didn't delete, I don't, like, all my Pokemon Let's Play still exist. But definitely some of the cringiest stuff is all gone. Because I know there are some kids nowadays who their entire life is online. Everything they've ever done, and like, I got in and got out before anyone could see it. There are some people who they can't get out anymore. Of course, now I'm making this stuff nowadays, and yep, that's fun. Yep. So I should probably talk about the news at some point, shouldn't I? We have E3 is next week. Yeah, kids get exposed to technology at such an early age nowadays. Yeah. Yeah, because, yeah, I should probably talk about the news at some point, because tonight I'm doing my E3 predictions. E3 is a week away. Can you, like, you know, America is back, the world is healing, corporations are greedy again. Well, okay, they've always been greedy. What else has changed? But, yep, E3 is a week away, and tonight we're doing E3 predictions. And yeah, I have been writing E3 like anytime some random one just came to mind, I have been writing E3 predictions down for like 3 weeks now. So like, oh hey, for Microsoft I have like, I don't know, like maybe a page, and for Nintendo I have over 3 pages. Cause it's just any random thing that came to my mind I wrote down. I wrote down Bandai Namco for some reason. But yeah, I've got a lot of E3 predictions tonight, so maybe something fun. Maybe we'll get something fun out of it. I was not paying attention. Did I get voted out? Oh, we'll see in a second. We probably got out. I screwed up. I got hit, and so did someone else. But yeah, so I guess let's talk. So yeah, I guess we should start at some point. So, Minecraft, right? We're doing on the stream. We've been doing Minecraft recently. Yep, we're out. We've been doing can you beat Minecraft without accessing your inventory? It's not going well, to say the least. We'll definitely talk a little bit more about that at the end. But yeah, it's beating Minecraft without accessing your inventory. Nope, I'm not having... We talked about it last week. I've been having some of the worst luck ever. Right? Like, anytime I thought things were going good, nope, they weren't. Hey, we got a crown. Oh, we're one... Oh, we gotta get one more tonight. Come on, we're so close to the number. We're so close to the number. But, the reason we're talking about Minecraft tonight is, the 1.17 update. The Caves and Cliffs update part 1 releases next week. It releases on June 8th, which is, what, 4 days away? Yeah, it releases in 4 days. I think, the 1.17 release candidate 1 just came out earlier today. So yeah, Minecraft 1.17 is right around the corner. This is not the big update that everyone wants that adds deeper worlds and higher mountains and everything. And the new boss, the Warden. Nope, that's not this update. This update just adds in a bunch of new items, a bunch of new blocks, glow squid, which they actually made the glow. They made it so the glow squid now lights up text, right? Instead of just lighting up a sign, it like puts like a neon effect on the text. Looks fantastic. They redeemed the glow squid. Glow squid is good now. At least that's how I'm taking it. The goat is in the new thing. The axolotl, right? The little water thingy. That's in the new update. And just a bunch of new items, candles, a bunch of new blocks, all the new block textures. It's a very simple update. Because the whole caves, because they split the update up into 2. It feels like very simple, but hey, there's probably going to be some like new achievements or whatever. It's probably going to be fine, right? I'm probably going to go in and get those new achievements because you know me, I got to get every achievement in Minecraft. And yeah, it'll be fine, right? But yeah, new Minecraft updates just right around the corner. I am excited that they can now start getting back to the snapshots for the new deeper cave stuff, and because that deeper cave stuff is so cool. It's a year away, which blows my mind, because if you've seen all the work they've done, you'd swear it was closer. But then again, I don't think they've implemented anything of the Warden yet. So on that part, I get it. I get why it's a year away. Or I get why it's like 6 months away. But yeah, no, the new Minecraft update's just right around the corner. And yeah, and it's simultaneous release on everything, right? Java Edition, Bedrock, Xbox, Switch, PlayStation, all that jazz. That's cool. That's something that they did for, I think, 1.16, and it's cool they're doing it for this one. Yeah. I don't know, the new update's not huge, but it's right. Oh, cool, new update. It'll be nice to screw around with it a little bit and do whatever. Make a birthday cake, I guess. Oh god, my birthday's right around the corner. When it, you know, just out of curiosity, is that on a Friday? No, it's on a Thursday, okay. Ooh. Okay, whatever. So yeah, whatever. That's right around the corner. I mean, right around the corner. That's less than a month, but you know what I mean. Let's see. Next up, so a few years back. So whenever I do my Game of the Year list, I also highlight a board game of the year because I love me some board games, even though I don't always play them because I don't have any friends. I love board games. I have a lot of fun playing board games, and every year I highlight a board game of the year. Last year, it was Muffin Time. Muffin Time was my thing of the year. The year before that, it was... I don't remember. But at some point, it might have been last year, but maybe the year before that. My board game of the year was The Binding of Isaac: Four Souls. I like The Binding of Isaac, the original game, which is over a decade old now. Probably, maybe, God, it's old. It's good, but I love the original Binding of Isaac. And then when the Binding of Isaac Rebirth came out, where it was like basically the remake that added on all the new God damn it, I'm out. I hate this new map. Cool idea, but I'm not good at it, and I've only completed it, I think, once. But yeah, the new Binding of Isaac. So Binding of Isaac: Four Souls came out, and it's the Binding of Isaac card game. It's really fun. It's really good. There's this whole level of strategy and metagame to it. I've seen some crazy shit go on in that game. I love it so much. I'm sorry to cut this short, but I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna head to sleep. Yeah, you too. Yeah, have a good night. Yeah. Yeah, and if I ever get back to normal stream schedule, maybe I'll see you around. Maybe. God. I always gotta start doing these earlier. But yeah, so I love Binding of Isaac. And the new Binding of Isaac, Four Souls, basically got its expansion with Four Souls Requiem. And it looks amazing. It looks great. It expands on everything the original game had. How are we? I guess because nobody's finished. We're on first. But yeah, Four Souls Requiem looks fantastic. And the Kickstarter launched for it on June 1st. Did we talk about the Actually Kickstarter as well? Actually is also doing a board game, and I think we talked about this last a week or two ago. I've also backed that, and yeah, that'll be good. But yeah, Binding of Isaac's doing its Kickstarter right now. And they've already been doing the bonus campaigns, and we've seen some of like the new cards and some of the crossover stuff. Like, oh, what was the one? There's a crossover card with Splunky. There's a crossover card with Slay the Spire. VVVVVVV is getting a crossover. Dicey Dungeon's getting a crossover. Plus, there's like a new room deck as part of the DLC. It's just a really... I don't want to actually pull up the Kickstarter. But I have backed the Kickstarter. I did back the Kickstarter because I was like, yeah, no, of course I'm going to do this. Right? I love the original Binding of Isaac. The original Binding of Isaac Kickstarter is the most money I had ever spent on a Kickstarter. Because I got the fancy gold box that came with the original. And this new one has like this new like big box. I can just I'll pull it up and maybe I'll show it. I'll show some of the stuff off. But yeah, it has like this new gold box, and I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'm totally down for this. This looks great, right? New Binding of Isaac, and so yeah, I backed it already. And right now we're going through all the stretch goals, and there's some cool stuff going on with the stretch goals right now. And it's of course, because one of the most because like the way Kickstarters do stretch goals is it was originally like money, right? That Kickstarter is just like the more money you do, the more stuff we unlock. And this Binding of Isaac Requiem is still doing that. But they're also doing like social challenges, which is basically just marketing, but because the first big one I remember to do the social stuff was the Cyanide and Happiness one. The Cyanide and Happiness Kickstarter, way back in 2014, did all this like crazy stuff with like social challenges. And since then, so many Kickstarters do all these social challenges because they work and they drum up attention for the thing, and you give people a chance to like, right? Like I think Actually is also doing social challenges, and it's to fill out the custom deck of like cards that people want. Like oh, there was one that was like fantasy versus sci-fi. There was another one that was vampires versus something else. And it's like by doing the social challenges, it raises viewership, like people who like know about the campaign, but it also like feels like people have a role in the Kickstarter. It's all very clever stuff that, again, the first time I ever saw it was Cyanide and Happiness. And I feel like everybody I've seen since then has basically been copying their model. But yeah, the Isaac one, because the Isaac one came after that, and they did challenges, and now they're doing current challenges, and it's all just really cool. But yeah, no, I'm super down. This all looks great, because I love me some Isaac. I was trying to pull it up. Yeah, I'm still in it. So yeah, over here we have the Kickstarter page. And then yeah, you see all this stuff, right? The new stuff, new characters, custom art cards, the different pack, because this is the DLC. You can buy the original game. There's this big box. This is the one yeah. That's the cool one. There's with all this stuff. There's all sorts of shit. We'll get back to that in a second. But yeah, no, I'm just super down. I'll admit I haven't actually like participated in any of the challenges yet. Even though I did I was like, oh, I wanted to do this one. But it's just been fun to watch, see something. Like there was one that was like having people create custom cards. And like some of the custom cards I saw that like people created were really cool, and I guess 4 of them are getting in the game. I don't know, I love Kickstarter, like my primary source to get board games. Like yes, occasionally I will buy like a Pandemic or a Catan, which I actually played Catan earlier today. I played a game of Catan. Still love me some Catan. But yeah. And then you've got all this like stuff that you can buy for like putting extra money into the Kickstarter, all these figures. Yeah, and then we got some of the stretch goal stuff, which they're really close to getting the next. I guess the next one's 4 million. Because yeah, this has raised a lot of money. And then, like I said, we've got some of these new cards and whatnot. Slay the Spot, or Splunky right there. VVVVVVV. Quap in Getting Over It. Dicey Dungeon, and there's Slay the Spire. Yeah, there's more stuff to come. There's some great stuff in here. It's just, yeah, no, I'm just really... Oh, we're in the final round. Cool. I'm just really enjoying the Kickstarter right now. That's really cool. I really do love me some... Most of the board games I play come from Kickstarter. And yeah. And yeah, Four Souls is an amazing... If you've never played it, and you actually have friends... I recommend you pick it up. I don't know if I'd say you put in the whole 100 and whatever to get everything, but maybe pick up I mean, I think you can go buy a copy of the default game right now, but I'd recommend, even though it won't get here for a while, I think it's a full year away, I recommend you just do the silver box from the Kickstarter if you've never played it before. Because it's a really... I don't know. I really like it. It's one of my favorite board games. It's a strategy game. Kind of like Slay... I guess I'd compare it to kind of like Slay the Spire, kind of. Even though it can be cooperative and it can be versus. It's just... I've wanted to play it more. Since the Kickstarter started, I've definitely wanted to play it a bit more. But it's really good. It's really fun. I do recommend it. Kickstarter runs till the end of the month, yeah. But yeah, no, I like it. I don't know if I'd say go all in on it, but definitely, like, I think it's $40 to pick up the default game. Yeah, that's easily worth it. But yeah, no, and this new one with like all the new crazy stuff they're adding in, it's the most I've ever put into a Kickstarter. It's going to be. It isn't at the moment, but like if you look at like all those crazy bonuses, I might pick up 1 or 2 of those. Because while I don't play the video game that much, I don't know. I played it when the original long ago. I guess I have a soft spot for it. And there's some cool like bonus stuff. I know people who are huge into Binding of Isaac, and they're just like super down to do just to like get some of those like figures and whatnot. Oh god, it's just me from my team. Oh, that guy just tried to murder me. That guy totally tried to murder me. I am so okay. I need to focus. Give me a second. Nope, I couldn't do it. I was close. Yep, I know. I know, game. So, next up, I'm on, we have, so this is Warrior64 on Twitter. Oops, there's my list of everything we're talking about tonight. Nintendo announces Nintendo Gallery, tentatively named in Japan at its Nintendo Uji Agura plant. Expected to be completed sometime April 2021, March 2024, so there's like a full year release window. And it's Nintendo's historic products will be showcased and exhibited, and experiences will be available. So yeah, that's it. What this basically is it's a Nintendo museum. That's what this, it's called Nintendo Gallery, but it is basically, because you know Nintendo now has their theme park. Well, it looks like Nintendo now has a museum. And you know what? That's really cool. I don't know. I like the idea of a Nintendo museum is really cool. Like if you're like, oh well, I'm gonna take a trip out to, even though I think that wherever that is like near Kyoto, I think as somebody said. So, and like that's a ways away from Tokyo, but it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, if you're going to Japan, you might as well like stop by there, especially if you're going to Super Nintendo Land. You might as well go to the Nintendo Museum. And yeah, it might be fun to go to the Nintendo Museum, right? Like all these other places have museums. Let Nintendo have a museum, sure. I don't know, that's just because like there is kind of in the top floor of Super Nintendo, or in the top floor of what, Nintendo World in New York, the Nintendo store, whatever the hell it's called. There is like a mini museum up there. It goes through like the history of Nintendo. That's where they have the Game Boy from the Gulf War that got bombed and still works. Yeah, that's where that is. But yeah, like the idea of an actual like fully functioning museum that's more than just the top floor of a store. Yeah, no, I love the idea of that. Sure, this sounds really cool. It's still what, 2 years away, 3 years away. But no, that's cool. Sure. Oh god, they're both doing terrible. We may not make it through this round. But yeah, no, I just think the idea of a Nintendo museum's cool, and it's a, I don't know if I'll ever actually see it. I mean, yeah, maybe one day I'll go to Japan. Probably not. You never know. It's a long life. What am I saying? Hopefully. I don't know. I just want to go to that Super Nintendo world. the podcast annual pass has been doing a campaign to send annual pass to Japan to go see the Super Nintendo world, because they're doing in the next 2 weeks they're going to Universal Florida for the Velocicoaster. So they're doing a campaign to send them to Japan, and it's like, that's kind of funny, right? That's send them to Japan. That's kind of cute. But yeah. Next up, we have here. We got another thing to read. So this is from Santa Monica Studios, Sony Santa Monica, and it is since the release of the next God of War teaser last year, We've been humbled by the amount of love our community has shown. We're incredibly grateful to see so many people excited to experience the next chapter of Kratos and Atreus' journey. We remain focused on delivering top quality games while maintaining the safety and well-being of our team, creative partners, and families. With this in mind, we've made the decision to shift the release window to 2022. Thank you all for your continued support. We've got some exciting stuff in the work, and we can't wait to show you. So yes, this was announced on June 2nd, so this was Wednesday, that God of War Ragnarok, which is, right now, it's just a tentative name. It's a temporary name, kind of like Project, like Triangle Strategy. It is a temporary name, nothing has been confirmed yet. But for the moment, God of War Ragnarok has been delayed. And this was inevitable. We all knew this was going to happen. Right now, it's up in the air if Horizon is going to be delayed, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, no, God of War Ragnarok has been delayed, and you know what? That's fine. It's fine that it's been delayed. It's right. Focus on the health of your team, right, and especially after Cyberpunk. I'm sure. Well, I know in the long run nothing has changed, at least for the moment, because of Cyberpunk. Studios are going to be more hesitant to rush games. Of course, not everyone, and there are still going to be tons who just push out games, right, without any care for anything else, and that are just like, oh, fuck our teams, right? We'll do whatever we want. We'll crunch our teams to death, basically. That's sadly not going to change because, unionize. The only way to stop that is going to be through unionization. But yeah, no, right, like I said with Minecraft, with them pushing the update back, and like I'll say with this is good. Focusing on the health of the team is super important. We all knew this was coming. This was only a matter of time. We also got this from Bend Studio real quick before we launch into, I guess we launch into another game. We are beyond grateful for your support with Days Gone and are truly honored by the amount of passion our community has shared with us for our world and characters. Your enthusiasm motivates us to continue to improve and create experiences that will last a lifetime. From Siphon Filter series to Resistance, Retribution to Uncharted Golden Abyss and Days Gone, we are very excited to announce that today we are expanding Bend Studios' portfolio with a brand new IP. We hope to embark on this new journey with us, and we can't show you what we've been working on. Alright, like, we talked about the story a few weeks ago that Bend Studios was working on, they pitched Days Gone 2, and Sony turned it down. I think they then started... No, that was a new studio. That was a different studio. A different studio was doing a Last of Us remake, which is not needed. Because, again, that game's not even a decade old. But, yeah. This is Bend Studios. They wanted to do a new Days Gone, and people were really angry that they weren't being able to make Days Gone 2. Because Days Gone 2 probably would have been good. Because Days Gone was... but a second one could have been good. Right, it could have been great, and people were angry about that. But Bend Studios like, hey, we're working on a new IP. Don't worry, everything's gonna be fine. There were a few other studios that put out messages. There was an interview as well. That's where we get the whole thing for Horizon, where right, because there was like an entire interview where they were talking about like, oh, when doing like work for these games, like voice acting and motion capture, we couldn't bring people into the studio. We had to do all that work at home. Like, people were setting up motion capture studios in their garage to work on, I think, God of War. And that's part of the reason they're delaying it, is so that, because they don't want to rush it, but they also want to make sure it's a high quality product. And because of that, they want to make sure they can get all the high quality, right, motion capture and everything they need for God of War Ragnarok. So that's part of the reason they're delaying it. And yeah, I get that. I get wanting to make a high quality product because, again, the first God of War is first God of War is good, but the God of War on PS4, the reboot, is good. It's a very high quality game. I did see also, I know I said we were going to do Horizon, but also I've seen people annoyed that because it was confirmed that the new God of War, even though it's not coming out until next year, it will also be coming to PS4. It will be coming to PS4 and PS5. And I saw some... Oh, God, of course we got whatever. I saw some people upset with that like, oh, well, it should only be on PS5 or whatever. And that it being on PS4, like, make the game worse. It's not going to make the game worse. I'll just straight up say it. It's not going to make the game worse. Do I? Okay, here it is. I was like, do I have that open somewhere else? I do. Good. But yeah, people were worried about that, like, oh, it's going to make the game worse. No, it's not. Look at what they've done with Spider-Man Miles Morales. It looks great on PS4. It looks amazing on PS5, right? And while, yes, there have been some PS5 exclusives, Ratchet & Clank, which comes up later this month, and Demon Souls, right? Sony, people can't get, because of capacitor shortages, people can't get PS5s. So, right, PlayStation wants to put games on PS4, and yeah, we'll see that with Horizon. Now, in the same statement, where they were talking about the release date for God of War, oh, gosh dang it, I thought I quit. They also mentioned Horizon, that Horizon Zero Dawn, or Horizon Forbidden West, is still projected to come out later this year, but it's also been under some of these same constraints that God of War is under. And while they think they will be able to hit a holiday release date, they're not sure. They might, it might be pushed to January, or sometime in, the Q4, so January through March. And that's totally possible. But right now, they are aiming for holiday. They think they can do it, but they're not sure. They're not certain. So Horizon might not be... Horizon might be delayed, and you know what? If they have to delay it, delay it. Again, team health is super important. PlayStation is... Does PlayStation... Because, I know Ubisoft, Activision Blizzard, Epic, right, all have terrible track records. CD Projekt Red. But I don't... Because the few... I don't think Xbox, Sony, or Nintendo... there are incidents... But I don't think there's, widespread, like what we see at Ubisoft, the company that protects sexual abusers. Yeah, I don't think so. But I don't know. I haven't heard any stories just off, right? But, it's, you hear stories of, Sakurai working himself to death, right? Literally having to be on an IV drip to finish Smash Ultimate. But from how those stories are worded anyways, it sounds like he did that to himself. It wasn't oh, the studio made him do it. He did that to himself, because, a lot of it is peer pressure. Employees being told, hey, you work these hours or you are fired. They're not told that, but they're hey, you better work these out, right? Because, companies will say that, oh, working overtime and crunching is optional, but through peer pressure, it's not optional, right? That's how this shit works. But yeah, studio health is important. So yeah, if God of War has been delayed, but if Horizon's delayed, that gives more people a chance to get a PS5. That's what I think it all comes down, right? That might be a big thing for Sony, is because the PS5 is selling well. But that's part of that is because it's so hard to get, and because it's the demand, because it's hard to get, that drives up demand as well. And because you have things like scalping and whatnot, and yeah, it's been a shit show, and the Switch Pro is going to be worse because it's got less time and there's still the capacitor shortage. God, it's going to be a fucking nightmare. The PS5's been bad, but the Switch Pro, when that inevitably happens, is going to be worse. But yeah, I guess let's talk about this Marvel XCOM thing. So this is we're still in it. So this is Video Game Chronicles. 2K is reportedly set to announce Marvel XCOM and a Borderlands spinoff. This all comes according to a leaked games list, first posted on Reddit, verified by Jason Schreier. According to it, a Borderlands spin-off called Wonderland will start, it also claims that XCOM studio Firaxis is doing a turn-based Marvel Heroes game. Take-Two. The studio is reveal several projects this year. Now, when we get to E3 predictions a little later, I don't actually have 2K has a showcase at E3. I don't have any predictions for it, but we'll talk about this because this is all going to be shown at E3. And yeah, I do believe these rumors, right? The Wonderland Borderlands spinoff has been rumored for a while now. There was the name Tiny Tina's Wonderland was trademarked by Gearbox. So yes, that does make sense. That it was just kind of like a when is that going to happen thing. So yeah, but this Marvel XCOM thing, like a Marvel game inspired by XCOM, I think that sounds really interesting. Right, because okay, I did not like I don't like XCOM games. But with that being said, I did enjoy XCOM. The XCOM reboot, XCOM Enemy Unknown. I did not like XCOM 2, the one with the snake people. Was it snake people? Nah, I could not get into that one. But the first one, I did like. They're not my style. Like, it's just, like, I don't like permadeath in games. It's why I don't play Fire Emblem. I just don't like permadeath. But even with that, XCOM Enemy Unknown was really good. So the idea of like a Marvel-style XCOM game, if it doesn't have permadeath, I'll for sure play it because I hate permadeath. But I'm sure it will have permadeath. I don't know. I could see it something more inspired by Mario plus Rabbids. Okay, let's see. As a result of the success of XCOM Chimera Squad and XCOM 2 on Switch, Firaxis said in his earnings call, we expect the growth to continue as the studio has several exciting projects in development that will reveal later this year. Finally, the alleged leak claims 2K will be published a new action game described as Cthulhu meets Saints Row. It is speculated that this will be Hangar 13's new IP, described as an open-world sci-fi title with supernatural elements on Thursday. E3 published new details. Greg Miller jerking himself off. Okay, you know. So yeah, the idea of like an XCOM Marvel thing sounds like a lot of fun. I'm totally on board for that. You know, let's go. If, like, I love the idea. If I don't want it to have permadeath. Of course, they could totally do permadeath. The thing that I've seen people say is like, hey, what if we did a like a multiverse thing, right? Where it was like where it was a game that takes place in the Marvel multiverse that you ventured around, right? And like that way you could have, like, let's say you have your Spider-Man die, you can bring in a Spider-Man from another universe that will then be better, or that you can then train up, right, to get the XCOM permadeath in there. I've also seen X-Men, right, because there's a rumor, we'll get to it later, but there is a rumor of a Guardians of the Galaxy game. So what if this, and we've seen like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, we've seen an Avengers game now, what if this is an X-Men game, right? And like you can do the permadeath by having different XCOM members. I don't know, that makes sense. That's not a terrible idea, to say the least. I don't know if any of this will happen, obviously, but that's not the worst idea I've ever seen. Because there's a bunch of there's so many because there, you know what I think of? There was a game a few years ago called or there was okay, so this is gonna be weird, but I'll get to it. I'll get to my point. There was a game called Scribblenauts DC Comics, made by Warner Brothers. The Scribblenauts games are fantastic, but they did one with DC Comics, and in it had like every character from DC Comics, right? Like, oh, we lost, but yeah, if there was like a DC Comics character, it was in that game, and there were some, okay, maybe not everything, but there were some deep cuts, to say the least. So of course, what if this XCOM Marvel game is an X-Men game that has a bunch of X-Men deep cuts in it? Like, basically, you have, right, permadeath is there, but it brings in, so like you've got all your Cyclops, your Wolverines, your Jean Greys, your Rogues, your, is it Kitty Pryde? Does she have a code name? Storm, Professor X, right? You've got all your normal, right, X-Men, but then you have some like deep cuts, some obscure characters, right? Johnny Five Dick, Chainsaw for Hans Johnson, Will Die If He Orgasms Man, God, there's a there are so many dumb X-Men characters. But yeah, what if this is just like a deep cut X-Men thing that allows you to have like all these different characters? Wouldn't that be neat? Or it could just be another Avengers thing, right? Defender, it could do the Defenders, get your Luke Cage, your Jessica Jones in there. Honestly, anything is possible. I don't know. In concept, I'm like, I love this idea. I love the idea of an XCOM Marvel game. And like, even if they get rid of permadeath, I'd be happy. Like, I liked Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. That's Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is basically baby's first XCOM, even though it's not that easy. Like, as you get into it, the game does get hard. But Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is really good, and you can get that game for like $10. And the Donkey Kong stuff is even better than the default game, the Donkey Kong DLC. And we'll talk about Mario plus Rabbids later on today, or later on tonight, I guess. But yeah, no, this all looks great. I like the idea. The Tiny Tina Wonderland stuff, because I do not care about Borderlands. I'll just be real. I played the second one. They're just not for me. They are one of the few games nowadays that if you want to like design a character, you don't pay microtransactions for cosmetics. You can just design a character. Do you want to unlock cool weapons? You just unlock cool weapons. You don't pay microtransactions. At least there probably are I don't know. Last I heard, there weren't any like microtransaction bullshit. It's just that Randy Pitchford is an asshole who does terrible things, and yeah. But other than that, no, I've heard the Borderlands, right, that's one of the few things I've heard. And Borderlands 2 was fine. They're just not for me. But I do know people hate Tiny Tina, right? And it looks like this game's going to be focused around Tiny Tina. And I know people hate Tiny Tina. So yeah. But yeah, the Borderlands games just aren't for me. The other thing was the Cthulhu meets Saints Row. Cthulhu. I don't. What that makes me think of. Wasn't there okay. So I know the Cthulhu story, right? The H.P. Lovecraft. But for some reason, wasn't there a video game called Cthulhu? Maybe I'm thinking of Cthulhu Saves Christmas. But or maybe I'm just thinking of Call of Cthulhu, which was there was a video game just called Call of Cthulhu. I know Call of Cthulhu is the book, but you know what I mean. But the idea of like because Saints Row went on, it became like a sci-fi thing. Like in the third game, I've played the Saints Row games. I like them. I did not care for 3. 3 just didn't do it for me. But like in 4, you basically enter the Matrix, and that was kind of cool. Like Saints Row the 4, where you had the superpowers, was actually pretty good. Saints Row 5, I think it was called Gat Out of Hell. Gat Out of Hell was where you go to hell and you play as Johnny Gat to rescue your character who's marrying the daughter of the devil. Was also pretty decent. Saints Row 3, however, I cannot stand. Saints Row 2 is good. Saints Row 2 is classic. But the Saints Row 3, nah, it just wasn't that good, and it was weird. It was weird, but not in a fun way. Like, they did this entire, like, zombie parody at one point, and I'm just like, I'm not having fun with this. I don't like Saints Row 3. I just don't. And, of course, Saints Row 3, much like GTA 5 and Skyrim, has been re-released about 1,000 times. And I know there were people like talking about like, hey, maybe they'll announce a Saints Row 5, right? That it's been long enough. Gat Out of Hell came out a few years ago. They've re-released Saints Row 3 like they did like Saints Row 3 Ultimate Edition a few years ago. Maybe it's finally time they announce Saints Row 5. And maybe this weird like sci-fi Saints or fantasy Saints Row, which the idea of fantasy Saints Row does not sound bad, right? Like that sounds like fun, especially if you have maybe actually bring in some of that Cthulhu Eldritch God shit, you know, have some fun with it, because Saints Row are supposed to be fun, and they can be fun. I don't know. But yeah, no, I like the idea of I like the idea of this. Of course, Gearbox has a show during E3. I don't have any predictions for it, but I would not be surprised to see all of these, right? Like, these all sound like something we'd see. Especially that Marvel thing sounds real. Like, I'm super into that. But yeah, we'll see. It's just I think Gearbox's show is like the first or second day of E3. I can pull up the E3 schedule in a second. Gearbox's show is the first day of E3, June 12th. But then Take-Two Interactive, which is also 2K Games, has a show on the 14th. So we might see stuff, like we might see that Tiny Tina thing at the Gearbox show on the 12th, and then maybe we'll see that XCOM Marvel thing and this new thing on the 14th. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Next up... Okay, so I haven't actually read this yet. Before we get into E3 predictions, I got one more news story. So, this leaked yesterday. So, let's come over here. So, it's Shin Megami Tensei 5 release date leaked November 11th, along with gameplay story details due to Japanese website being updated. And, can I get a better view of this? The official Japanese website has been updated with a November, presumably an error due to E3 on June 15th. The details are following. The last mainline Shin Megami Tensei since Shin Megami Tensei's first release in 1992. The series has gained popularity for its dark views. Shin Megami Tensei is like for anyone who doesn't know, it's basically the precursor to Persona, and it would they're basically like sisters. Persona is Shin Megami Tensei's sister series, and they have like crossed over and whatnot. I don't know. I've never played either Shin Megami Tensei or Persona, but I feel like this is something we should talk about. Meanwhile, in Fall Guys, we're doing this game, so I'm just gonna stand here and see how good we do. I'm just gonna stand in the same place. Story and characters. The main character is a high school student living an ordinary life, wanders into a world called death, basically. The hero fuses with a mysterious man and becomes a Neobino, a forbidden being, throwing himself into a battle between the gods and demons. Dath is a mysterious world, Dath, where deserts are found all over. Various gods, demons are scattered, huge mountains, giant bird flying through the sky. Still doing, even though I haven't been paying attention, I'm still doing fine. Yep, even though I have not... one of our teammates got eliminated. As you explore Death, you'll face over 200 demons. In addition, familiar demons. Several demons drawn by Masayuki Doi. The character designer of this title will also appear. Systems, Dead, an untamed land is under powerful demons. Protagonist clear his way and path through the rescue. The protagonist clears his way in truth and makes various means to advance. The end of the game can diverge in many ways. What future will you choose? So I won, and I was not paying attention that entire round. Of course, we still got eliminated because one of my teammates got knocked out. But yeah. Alright, let's go back to reading this Persona stuff I don't actually give a shit about, but I'm curious to read. Also, as this was listed on the Japanese website, for now there is no guarantee that a limited edition will be released outside of Japan, but we know there is one. The first limited edition for Shin Megami Tensei 5, the box condenses the game's charm, packed with plenty of demons, musics that embody Shin Megami Tensei 5. It also includes an item resembling a Nabino, considered a forbidden being in the game. Platform Nintendo Switch, genre RPG, release date November 11th, player first person, price, whatever all that translates to. Why do I feel like... Why do I feel like 9,000 yen isn't actually like a full 60 US dollars? Give me a second here. I'm gonna look this up because that doesn't feel like yen to USD. 8890. Oh, that's even... Wait, what? For some reason, I guess I was carrying my digits wrong. That's 80 bucks. For the standard edition? Really? I got my numbers right. And the digital version? I mean, the digital version, yeah. So, 9878 is 90 bucks. God. I wonder why that's so expensive. Like, for the standard, like, that's 20 bucks more than your standard game. Like, what? Well, 30 bucks in some cases. 1480. Or, oops, I hit the wrong button. 1480 is 135 bucks. Wow. And then, yeah. I wonder why that's more expensive. Huh, curious. Curious and curiouser. But yeah, that's Persona 5. That's our Shin Megami Tensei 5. You're like, if you're into Persona, I guess good for you? I don't know. I have never done a Persona before. I own Persona 5. I have always meant to play Persona 5. And yet I have never actually played it. Like, I've owned it, but I cannot beat an RPG. I like RPGs. I just can't beat them. Right? I played this time last year. I played Dragon Quest every day, put 30 hours into it. The second I stopped myself from playing it every day, I never finished it. Which sucks. Because I was liking it as well. It's just I cannot finish RPGs. And yeah, so Persona 5 I haven't even started yet. Because I know they just released Shin Megami Tensei 3. The remake of Shin Megami Tensei 3 just came out. God, we got screwed here. Yeah, the remake of Shin Megami Tensei 3 just came out recently on Switch. Like, I think that, like, there wasn't any, like, talk about it, but I swear that just happened, so I know that's probably a big deal. I don't know. I've never played a Shin Megami Tensei game. I've never played a Persona game. I do technically own, like I said, I own Persona 5. I might own Persona 3? I own Persona 1. I know I own that. I think it's Persona 1. I think it's... God, I don't remember. It's a PS1 game. I know I own that. I own some weird games. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure, right, we got that all that leaked information, so... Yeah, I mean, it seems fine. I know, like I said, I know people like these games, and they're probably good. I just don't play RPGs. So I guess let's talk. So I guess it's time to talk E3 predictions. So how will this work? I have a 5-page document. 3 of those pages are just Nintendo. It's almost 6 pages, but 3 of those pages are just Nintendo. It's just Nintendo. But I do have... We're also going to be talking about Ubisoft, Microsoft, Bethesda, which I've divided into its own thing, Squeenix, and Bandai Namco. I'll pull up the thing in the actual order of the conferences here in a second. I have that pulled up after we beat this. But yeah, E3 is right around the corner. It's a little over a week away. I know people are excited for E3. People are really, because it's been a long time, right? America is back, right? It's healing or whatever. It's turning back into its terrible self. I know right? People are registering for the E3 event in Not a lot of people are getting in, even though I personally wouldn't want to get into this E3, because remember how the ESA doxed everyone a few years ago and leaked everyone who was attended information? Yeah, there is no reason to believe that this would be any different. It happened before, it'll happen again. This is the fucking ESA we're talking about. The people who supported Sopa and Pippa. But yeah, so yeah, it's also Jeff Keighley Summer Games Fest, I think starts on the 11th, or maybe the 10th, right before E3, and with their kickoff live event. We talked about it last week. But yeah, so yeah, E3 is right around the corner. The schedule as it stands, let me get this out of the way, is June 12th is Ubisoft and Gearbox. June 13th is Microsoft and Bethesda, which are, again, Microsoft owns Bethesda now. Squeenix, Warner Brothers / Back 4 Blood. I'm assuming when it's, because we know Gotham Knights is delayed until next year, and the Suicide Squad game isn't coming for a while. So I'm just assuming that when they say Back 4 Blood, it means they're just focusing on Back 4 Blood, right? PC gaming show, which I have never watched because June 14th is Take-Two and Capcom. June 15th is Nintendo and Bandai Namco. We have times for some of these. Like, I know we have Microsoft and Bethesda's time. I think we have Squeenix's time. I think Nintendo, I know we have Nintendo's time. I think we have Ubisoft's time, but there are some of these times we don't have. Devolver Digital also isn't listed on here, even though we do have their times. And yeah, I will not. So I have predictions for some of these, but we won't be talking about Gearbox. We're not going to talk about either of these. We're not going to talk. We just talked about Take-Two and those leaks, and yeah, so we're not going to be talking about any of those things. But I do have stuff on all of the others. And yeah, so I guess let's get into E3 predictions. Let's start with Ubisoft. So as we go into Ubisoft, wait, real quick. I also meant to say this. I will be live streaming as many of these conferences as I can. At least the conferences, right? Basically, if I'm about to give a prediction for this conference, I will probably live stream it. That's my goal at the moment. I'm going to try my damnedest to do it. Yeah, hopefully I'll be busy, but I shouldn't be too busy because I'll be watching these regardless. So yeah, I'm gonna stream these. I'm going to try. It's gonna be, hopefully it'll be fun. There's going to be some bad conferences, obviously, but yeah, I just want to say that. So yes, I will. These are my predictions. I don't have a way to mark anything yet. I haven't made a spreadsheet. But hey, and then after E3, so on the 18th, we'll come back through and see how much of this I got correct, or most of this I probably got wrong, but yeah, we'll come back through. So let's actually start with Ubisoft. Ubisoft is a company that protects sexual abusers, that abuses their employees, and do not forget, do not forgive. And you better believe when we live stream this conference, I will not let you forget. Because Ubisoft is a company that sexually abuses its employees. And just in general abuses them. And they're terrible. And Yves Guillemot is still in charge of the company. And he should be ousted for his involvement in this. And his negligence. Yep. Ubisoft is a company that sexually abuses its employees. And should not be forgiven. Oh god, we didn't even talk about... I didn't even have the thing written down here about David Cage. Some shit came out about David Cage. Oh my god. We already know David Cage is crazy. And the whole thing about with Elliot Page was terrible. But yeah, I didn't even have a thing written down here about David Cage. But yeah, terrible. Fuck Quantic Dream. And again, when I say fuck these companies, the actual on the ground, by their bootstraps employees, I have no problem with. Right? The average just employee who's trying to make a good game, they're fine. I'm talking about the corporation and upper management. Right? The managers at Ubisoft, who leveraged their power to abuse and sexually abuse their employees. Right? Michel Ancel, got out, left the company last year. And we found out he left the company because he was abusing his employees during the development of Beyond Good and Evil 2. Which, I should just say, I don't think I have... Oh, I do have it written down here. We are not seeing Beyond Good and Evil 2. I don't know if we will ever see Beyond Good and Evil 2. It is reasonably possible that Beyond Good and Evil 2 has just been cancelled. Right behind the scene. Same thing with Skull and Bones. I mean, they say Skull and Bones is continuing on. It's been delayed until next year. That was a news story a few weeks ago. I don't know if we'll ever see Skull and Bones again. I don't know if we'll ever see Beyond Good and Evil 2 again. And maybe not, and maybe fuck them, right? Like, I would be I've never played the original Beyond Good and Evil, but a lot of people talk highly of it. A lot of people were hopeful for Beyond Good and Evil 2, but might never happen. But let's get to some actual predictions. I was going to say Far Cry 6, right? My original prediction was going to be Far Cry 6, but we just got some gameplay. Originally, I think it was earlier this week, Far Cry 6 leaked, and then later on, the next 2 days later, they just straight up released the gameplay. We were supposed to get it before E3 regardless, but it did leak the first time, right? The original information did leak. So we did get our first gameplay. Of course, during press junkets, Ubisoft pulled a Ubisoft and claimed that Far Cry 6 is not political, because, Ubisoft loves to claim games about the American government being overthrown. Division 2 is not political. Ubisoft loves to claim that games about QAnon-style Bible-thumping rednecks taking over a place in America is not a political game. And of course, this game, a game that is heavily inspired by revolutions, is not political, right? That's what Ubisoft claimed, even though it is very, very clearly political, because what Ubisoft likes to do is they like to use all the images of politics, but by saying it's not political, they can appeal to anybody, right? Like if they were like Far Cry 5 is directly attacking rednecks, QAnon, Christian extremists, but those people also love to play Far Cry games, right? Your average middle-class American. So of course they said the game was not political. Of course, Ubisoft got called on this immediately, right? And they said this unprompted, right? They unpromptedly said that Far Cry 6 is unpolitical. They got called on it, and you know what? Ubisoft came out and said that, no, you know what? Fine, Far Cry 6 is political. We aren't commenting on Cuba specifically, and the current situation in Cuba, but they did say Far Cry 6 is a political game. Of course, does that forgive anything that Ubisoft has done? No. Does it forgive the fact that they abuse and sexually abuse their employees? No. Does it forget the fact that they still tried to get away with saying Far Cry 6 wasn't political? No. Because fuck Ubisoft. And I'm going to keep reminding you of it. It may not be fun, but it needs to be done. Alright. You can look up Ubisoft saying not political. I think the big one was the Division, when they said it for Division 2. You can look up and find those videos. Jimquisition, like always. Next, but yeah, so we just got the Far Cry 6 event. We might see more at Ubisoft Forward. We might. We also might not. I think they're called Ubisoft Forwards. Yeah, if we, I mean, I'm sure we will see a little bit more, but I don't expect too much more, because again, we just got this new preview. So yeah, I don't expect too much, but who knows, it might happen. Next up, Rainbow Six Quarantine. We know Rainbow Six Quarantine is getting a new name, right? Everybody knows it, because we have been in quarantine for the past year. You know that game's not gonna... You're right, it's kind of like the whole thing with Corona Beer, where Corona Beer started selling worse because of coronavirus. Okay, I need to focus, so give me a minute. Watermelon, orange, apple, cherry. Watermelon, orange, I know we can't win this, but I'm going to try. Apple, orange, grape, watermelon. Apple, orange, grape, watermelon, cherry. Apple, orange, grape, watermelon, cherry. Apple, orange, grape, watermelon, cherry. Watermelon, cherry. Apple, orange, grape, watermelon, cherry. Apple, orange, grape, watermelon, cherry. Apple, orange. Oh, you... I was there, but those other beans knocked me over. I mean, we weren't making it through this round. We only had one of us had already been eliminated. And yeah. But yeah, so Rainbow Six Quarantine is going to get a new name. I think the rumor right now, because there was some test material that came out at one point that got leaked a few months ago. I think it was Rainbow Six Parasite was the new name they were thinking about using. I could see that. But yeah, no, it's definitely not going to be called Quarantine. I think because I know Rainbow Six Siege is still huge. People love that game. People play it all the time. My brother loves it. He's probably playing it right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he was. But, yeah, I know Rainbow Six is huge. So, yeah, of course, Rainbow Six Quarantine. I think it's a PvE thing, right? It's like player versus environment, so with zombies, because, of course, everything has to be zombies. But I think that comes out, yeah, that's probably going to be later this year, because it probably got delayed because of COVID as well. But yeah, it's also, we're probably going to get it later this year, and I bet, yeah, Rainbow Six Parasite's a fine name. So yeah, we're probably going to see that. Just Dance, I think it would be Just Dance 2021, but it might be Just Dance 2022. I don't remember, because like, you know how like car models are always like a year ahead of whatever the current year is? So like the new Ford Elantra 2022 would have released this year. I just picked a random car name. Right. That's how that works. So I think Just Dances work like that. Because I think but I don't think Madden... Are Maddens the... Like, did FIFA 2021 come out this year? Or will FIFA 2021 come out? I don't know, but there's going to be a new Just Dance. Those games sell. They're going to keep selling, yeah, of course. Riders Republic. Riders Republic is basically the sequel to Steep, but it's all about, like, mountain bike riding and whatever. Yeah, Steep was not a game I gave a shit about. One of the few games that was, like, at the original Switch reveal. Right when the original Switch January presentation, Riders Republic was shown during that, and it never came to Switch. At least I don't think it ever did. I think it's like one of the only one. I think it might be the only one shown at that in Shin Megami Tensei 5. I think were the two that were shown at that conference that never came to Switch. Because yeah, nobody gave a shit about Steep, and because yeah, they had that Olympics tie-in. But Riders Republic is this new thing, and people seem to be more optimistic about it. It probably fixes some of the problems with Steep, so I'm sure people are happy for that. Again, I don't play sport. Like, even the sports game I might like Mario Golf, I'm probably not even gonna pick up. But yeah, I know Riders Republic is probably later this year. It's probably gonna come out late this year, because I think it was originally like a December release date last year, and then it got delayed, and then of course COVID delayed it. So we might get it. So we're probably gonna get it this year. It might just take up that December release date. So yeah, that's that Riders Republic. That's totally possible. Okay, here's a question: will we see Prince of Persia: Sands of Time? I think we will. The Prince of Persia earlier this year, it was announced that the game had been delayed because, you know, it didn't look that great. So they announced they were delaying it to make it look better, because it was supposed to be out by now. And because I think it was like an early 2021 release date, and then, you know, and COVID also probably didn't help it, because we haven't seen how the game looked. We haven't seen the game in like over a year now, I think. There might have been something. Yeah, you know what? No, that might be. I think Ubisoft did have a presentation in like October of last year. We might have seen it then, now that I'm thinking about it. But I think that was the last time we saw it. But it got delayed. I don't think it got delayed out of this year. I don't think they, like God of War said 2022. I don't think they said for Prince of Persia 2022. I think we will see it. I've seen a lot of people say that no, we aren't going to see it. I personally think we will. Yeah, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time is considered one of the best games of all time. I've always wanted to, kind of like Silent Hill 2, I've always wanted to play it, but never have. I don't know. It comes out later this year. That's cool. Or it might come out later this year. I don't know. Again, I haven't bought a Ubisoft game in years. Because I didn't buy Scott Pilgrim. I was going to, and then I just didn't. Because Ubisoft is a company that abuses their employees sexually as well. And sexually abuses their employees. So yeah, I haven't bought a Ubisoft game in a long time, and I don't plan to, but I know Prince of Persia is held up as one of the best games of all time, so yeah. And then what next? Oh, I do not think we are going to get an Assassin's Creed this year. We got Assassin's Creed used to be a yearly release, but it isn't as of recently, and last year we got a new Assassin's Creed, and we got a new Watch Dogs, so I don't expect a new Watch Dogs either. We got both of those last year, so I don't expect either. It's right around the bend, so yeah. If we don't get a new Assassin's Creed, I would not be surprised, and if we don't get a new Watch Dogs anything, I also would not be surprised. I don't know, because, yeah, Assassin's Creed used to be annual, now it isn't, and the games have gotten better. Of course, they also put microtransactions in the games, which made them worse, because they made the games more grindy to incentivize you to buy those microtransactions. But yeah, I don't know, part of me would I'd love to play Odyssey, because I really liked Assassin's Creed games. I liked 2, I liked Brotherhood, I liked 4, I played 3, and, not Revelation. Was it called Revelations? I played 3 in Revelations, they just weren't that good, and I never played Unity. I think 4 was the last one I played, because Unity did not get good reviews, Syndicate didn't get good reviews, and then they rebooted the series, and again, I just haven't, because then they added microtransactions in one of the games. So yeah, I haven't played any of the modern Assassin's Creed games. But yeah, I don't expect that. The last one I have is Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle 2. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle came out in 2017. It would in no way surprise me if we get a Kingdom Battle 2 finally announced, because I think the DLC came out in 2018, and I don't know what else Ubisoft Milan has been working on, right? David Soliani has been working on. I would not be surprised if we get a Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle 2. Personally, I would want a Zelda Kingdom Battle. I think, right, they did with Mario, they did a Donkey Kong one with the DLC. I would love to see them take on Zelda next. I know, right, oh, well, you have Mario plus Rabbids doing one thing, and then you have Hyrule Warriors doing another thing. But I would much rather see a Zelda Kingdom Battle, personally. I think that would be more interesting. Will that actually happen? Because there was a thing where, like, at one point, there was like a Mario plus Rabbids Twitter, and at some point it changed to just, for no reason, it just randomly changed to, like, Mario Rabbid or something like that. And it's like, oh, well, maybe they're working on a sequel. So, yeah. It could, God, I'm so bad at this. It could totally happen. It could totally happen. The one thing that makes me wonder about it, because part of me was like, right, like I said earlier with the Switch Pro, if the Switch Pro gets revealed, one of the things they talk about it, because Nintendo's conference is on the last day of E3, on June 15th. Ubisoft's is on the 12th. And if the Switch Pro was revealed during the Ubisoft conference, they could be like, hey, this is Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle 2, and it's running on the Switch Pro. Hey, like, it might be one of the first Switch Pro games we see. I could see that being a big marketing thing, right? Because, right, one of the early on in the Switch's lifespan, we had Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, even though that leaked. Because that game leaked extremely early. Because it also had because it was revealed in June and came out in August. That's an extremely quick turnaround. And it could totally happen with Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle 2 if that happened. But again, I think the idea of a Zelda Rabbids thing is way more interesting. But that's just me personally, because I feel like they did the Mario. The Donkey Kong stuff was also really good, and I feel like they did Donkey Kong. So I'd love to see them do Zelda. I think that there's just more potential to do something newer and more interesting there, because it is a good game. And you can get it for like $10, I think, even with the DLC. And like I said, also, no Beyond Good and Evil 2, that game's dead. Right, that's not coming out. Yeah, that's Ubisoft, the company that abuses its employees and sexually abuses their employees, and has done nothing to get rid of Yves Guillemot, because even though he is culpable in, yeah, everything, fuck Ubisoft. But yeah, we'll be there. Next up, Microsoft. Halo Infinite. I think we are going to see Halo Infinite. It's going to look better, but not that much better. Like Halo, like I know people want Halo Infinite to be like this amazingly beautiful game. It's not going to be that. I just don't think it will be, and that's fine. Because what matters is the gameplay. And I think whatever they show off for Halo Infinite, it's gonna look good. Like, because after the missteps of 5, I feel like part of this whole thing with Halo Infinite is they're trying to like gain back people's trust, show that no, we can make a good Halo game once again. I need to play the Halo games at some point. I want to play 2 again. I haven't played 2 in probably a decade. No, it's probably been like 2012. God, I want to play 2 again. I have the Master Chief Collection. Yeah, I do. But yeah, Halo Infinite. It's gonna, I think, yeah, visually it's not gonna be, like, people are probably gonna still clown on it. But gameplay-wise, it's gonna look good, right? It's gonna be, like, back to the, I know they showed off, they show off wall running and, like, a hook shot style thing, like a grapple hook. So that's still gonna be there, but it's gonna definitely look more like Halo, like what you want it to be, right? Like your Halo 1 through 3, Reach, I guess. I don't know. I feel like people have complicated feelings on Reach. Like, I feel like some people really like Reach, but then other people really hate Reach, so I don't know. But I know Halos 1 through 3 are loved. 4/Reach is where it starts to get dicey, and nobody likes 5. I don't know anybody who likes 5. But yeah, and I'm gonna guess a November release date. I think it's coming this year. It's been a long time since we've seen it, and I think Microsoft needs something, right? Like, if Horizon gets delayed, Horizon gets delayed. I still think they're gonna aim for that release date, like in that November-ish time for Horizon, but because you need a holiday game. Microsoft needs some sort of big holiday game, and it's probably not going to be Starfield. So I think it realistically is going to be Halo Infinite. Or, yeah. Because, I know people will argue, well, do you need a big holiday game? And I think companies like Nintendo and Sony prove that, yes, you do need a big holiday game. Yes, there will always be your new Call of Duty, which I don't have it on here, but if Call of Duty gets shown off, it's going to be shown off at the Microsoft show, probably. I don't know. I know PlayStation had a deal for a while, but I don't know. If it gets shown off, but I don't think it will, personally. Because who knows? The next Call of Duty, from what I understand, is in development hell. From all the rumors I had, which we talked about at some point, I think, like last year. But yeah, no, Halo, I think companies know they need holiday games. Both Sony and Nintendo, with games, right, like God of War and Mario Odyssey, have shown that holiday Smash Bros. I'm trying to think of another one for Sony. Have shown that they need holiday games, that the first-party games do matter, and one of Microsoft's big problems is that they don't have good first-party games. Because Halo used to be huge. It isn't anymore. It doesn't hold the same weight. But if Halo Infinite is good, it will. Right? We say that like, oh, CD Projekt Red with just The Witcher or with just Cyberpunk has destroyed all the goodwill they have. All it takes is them making one good game, and all that goodwill will come back. I can almost guarantee it. But it's just, can they make that good game? Maybe. Again, they crunch their employees to hell and back. Yeah, Halo Infinite. Psychonauts 2 is another one I'd expect. The question is, with Psychonauts 2, will it be a shadow drop? Because I guess recently it got rated by the ESRB. Like the ESRB, I don't remember what they rated it. But when a game gets rated, it's relatively close to release. And this was like a month or two ago now. But yeah, Psychonauts 2 did get rated. So it's like, hey, is Psychonauts... Because it's been... Wasn't it originally a Kickstarter? It's been probably like 5 years. And they showed it off at E3 last year, and it looks good. So yeah, if Psychonauts 2 happens, it might shadow drop, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it comes out by like August. That's probably the release date I would say is probably around August, maybe a little earlier, a little sooner. I know people are excited for Psychonauts. So yeah, that could totally happen. I think no matter what, I think it's this year. I think they even just straight up said it was this year. So yeah, that's right around the corner. I don't know. I need to play the first one again. I bought it a few years ago, and then I just never got around to it because I'm terrible. But it's a great game. It's got some like it doesn't hold up perfectly, right? Kind of like some of the like N64 platformer stuff, like like Banjo-Tooie. It doesn't hold up perfectly, but I know people love it. Next up, Forza Motorsport 8. Recently, it was confirmed that Forza Motorsport 8 is in development or whatever. Of course, Gran Turismo and Forza, you always expect those to exist. A lot of people hope that Forza Motorsport 8 is in Japan, because, we've done all sorts of America things. So the hope, the dream, I guess, is that it takes place in Japan, because that would be something new and fresh. Just get out of America, like Central America or South America, I guess would be fine. But the dream is Japan. I don't know. I've been listening to people talk about this, and that's the dream. I don't know if it'll actually happen, but I do expect them to see Forza Motorsport. Of course, there is no stage show, so they can't just bring a car out. But I would not be surprised if they just had a real car at some point. Remember when they did the Lego car? Like, I remember that one time when they revealed the car, Top Gun style, Top Gear, I mean, and it was like, oh, wow, okay, I don't know why you're doing this at this video game thing. But then they had the Lego car to announce Lego stuff in Forza 7, I think, and it was like, oh, that's neat. Perfect Dark. So we know is it the Syndicate? There's a studio, I don't remember the Initiative. I think it's the Initiative, actually, is making Perfect Dark. We got a trailer. We got like a weird like CG. We got more than just a logo, but it's like a full pre-rendered trailer, no gameplay or anything, at the Xbox reveal last year, right at the Xbox One big reveal thingy. So I would not be surprised if we see some more of Perfect Dark. Maybe we actually get gameplay. I know people are excited for this. I know people love well, GoldenEye is more fondly remembered on the N64. Perfect Dark is technically the better game. And the proximity mines from Smash Bros. Are from Perfect Dark, but, copyright, gray zones. So, yeah. Yeah, fun fact. That's a true fact. They're inspired by Perfect Dark, but, copyright. So it never actually says anything. But yeah, no, so I'm expecting to see Perfect Dark. If they don't, I also wouldn't be surprised, because I think even if they show something, I don't expect it to get a release date until next year. Like, realistically, it's not releasing for a while. But I could see it being released I could see it getting a release date for next year. And I could see them showing something. But if they don't show anything, I also would not be surprised. I am having terrible luck with this. God, how did I miss the red guy and hit the blue guy? Next up, 12 Minutes. 12 Minutes was a game they showed at Microsoft's... I think it's now being kind of like Cuphead. It's being backed by Microsoft now. It's got Willem Dafoe in it as well, I think. which is weird, but okay, you know what? Sure. I don't know, it's like one of those things where you're like stuck in like a 12-minute time loop and all sorts of crazy things can happen. I don't know, it looks really good, and you know, because I listen to Kinda Funny all the time, the creator of 12 Minutes directly cites Kinda Funny for like blowing their game up. So it's like, yeah, no, that's cool, and yeah, no, it looks good. It looks like something I'm interested in, and so hopefully we'll see more of that. Next up is so I've got Grounded here. And Grounded was that game made by Obsidian? The guys who did Outer Worlds and Fallout New Vegas. Same studio. It's their like Ark survival where, you know, it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, where you get shrunken down into a little, like, you're like, and there's like all these adventures and you can fight spiders and whatnot. And you build bases out of like out of grass and sticks and everything. I do think we're gonna see they're gonna be like the next major, because that game's been in beta for like a year now, coming up on it anyways. And I do think we're going to see the next big update. Like, they're gonna be like, hey, the Grounded beta 2.0 update is out right now, and it adds all this crazy new stuff, and maybe it adds some big like story content. I think it's only been out for like a year now, probably even less than that. So I don't expect to see like the big like, hey, we're finally out of beta. But I think we could see something from this. Right, get some more, because I know people like Grounded. I know people liked the game. Of course, eventually you do everything in it because it was in beta. And I know they have updated it once or twice since then. But yeah, like a big, like, the 1.2 up, or whatever they're at. Like, some sort of big update. I would not be surprised. That just makes sense. I do not think we'll see, because, you know, Obsidian made the Outer Worlds, which is basically Space Fallout. It's Space Fallout New Vegas, which I need to play. I started the Outer Worlds, played it for a few hours, but I never finished RPGs, so I never finished it. And I played it for a few hours, realized I'm terrible at shooting, and then never came back to it. But they're also making their version of Skyrim, basically. I don't remember what it was called, but that also got announced at the Xbox show. I don't think we'll see that. Honestly, you know what? Because of how weird last year was, Grounded, we could only have had Grounded for like 6 months. I wouldn't be surprised. Because I can't tell what's what anymore, honestly. I know the beta came out last year, or early access or whatever. But yeah, no, that new game that they're doing, that's basically their Skyrim. I don't expect to see that. I mean, it could show up, but I don't expect it. Next up, Rare, meanwhile, I think they're done with Sea of Thieves. Like, I don't think we're getting any more Sea of Thieves updates. We might be. I don't know. Rare might be a bigger studio than I think. But we do know they're working on a new game called Everwild, which is like these like fantasy creatures, and there was like a sparkly deer. Not the one sparkly deer. That was, I think, Ghostwire Tokyo. No, I think it's a different sparkly deer. I don't know. There were like several games in the past like 2 years we've seen with sparkly deer, and this is one of them. It's like a fantasy thing. It's being made by Rare. I don't know. People really like Sea of Thieves. I was always wanted to play it, but I never have. But I know people like Sea of Thieves, and Everwild seems to be their next game after Sea of Thieves. So yeah, no, I could totally see this happening. I could totally see us finally getting more about that. I don't know. I know people like Sea of Thieves, and well, I know Rare. A lot of people say like, "Oh, Rare as a studio is dead." They're not actually dead in like the typical sense. You know, it's a little bit more complicated than that, honestly. But yeah, it's more that the original people who like made all the Rare games you love are gone, and you know they've gone on to do Yooka-Laylee, and I think they did Snake Pass as well, which Yooka-Laylee may not be good. Okay, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is good, from what I've heard. I am considering, if my Switch wasn't broken, I probably would have just picked it up, because I think it's on sale for like $7. Yeah, I don't know. I have not played Ukulele. I just have not heard good things about Ukulele. Hat in Time's good though, from what I've heard. I don't know. But what was I saying? Yeah, Everwild we'll probably see. Because yeah, Rare is a different studio, but it seems like they're recovering, like, because people like Sea of Thieves. So what else can I really say? Of course, the hope is, so also speaking of Rare, the hope is, much like how they did the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy and the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, the hope is a Banjo-Kazooie, the first two Banjo-Kazooie games remade, full like HD graphics, take inspiration from how Banjo looks in Smash Bros, but a full-on Banjo-Kazooie game. That would be really cool, right? Remakes of, put it on Switch as well, please. But like a full HD Crash Bandicoot, Spyro Reignited Trilogy style Banjo-Kazooie thing, I'd love that. I don't think it's going to happen, because again, that's been the hope. Because again, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy did insanely well. Like, it was seriously one of like the best-selling games the year it came out. But so you would hope that, hey, Microsoft saw that and was like, hey, we have Banjo-Kazooie. People would love Banjo-Kazooie remakes and give us that. That's the dream, of course. I don't think that's going to happen. I would love, we're going to talk about two Nintendo things real quick. Because I would love to see, this might also happen at Nintendo show, or this would happen at Nintendo show, at least this first one. I would love to see the Rare Replay collection on Switch. A lot of those classic a lot of games on Rare Replay, of course there's a few that aren't. Grabbed by the Ghoulies, the Perfect Dark sequel, the Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, and the two Viva Pinatas were never Nintendo games, even though there was a Viva Pinata game on Nintendo DS. I love the Viva Pinata games. I loved those games. But I could see them announcing Rare Replay is coming to Switch, and as part of it, the Switch version, it has Donkey Kong Countries 1, 2, and 3, Diddy Kong Racing, and Donkey Kong 64. I could see that happening. This is a prediction I've made every year for, I don't know, when did Banjo-Kazooie get in Smash Bros? Maybe even before that. But this is something I've been hoping for a while now. Maybe this is the year it finally comes true. Of course, part of me was always like, well, part of the reason they wouldn't do it is because what if Xbox would be like, hey, if we're putting Rare Replay Collection on Switch with all the Donkey Kong Countries and all that, Diddy Kong and all that, can we also get some of those games on Xbox, right? Like, hey, we'll do a DLC for the Rare Replay on Xbox that adds those games to Xbox. And, Nintendo would never do that. Even though, again, there have been, like, Mario games on PC and whatnot, and, Nintendo does mobile games. I don't know. Honestly, if you had asked me, like, 5 years ago, I'd say, no, that would never happen. But the post-Switch Nintendo has done some weird shit. Post-smartphone Nintendo has done some weird shit. So that's totally possible. GoldenEye would be another one. I know, because to get because there was that GoldenEye Reloaded, and the studio did try to remake GoldenEye. This came out last year. A studio remade GoldenEye, and then they thought they had gotten permission from Nintendo to do it, so they made the remake, and then before it was finished, or it was about to be finished, and Nintendo was like, oh no, you know what, we're not going to let you release this, never mind. So yeah, they did try to remake GoldenEye, and there was a really, like, GoldenEye Reloaded that was garbage, but because you need Nintendo to remake GoldenEye, they have part of the rights. So getting GoldenEye on Rare Replay, you'd need Nintendo, and hey, maybe it's possible. People love that. Again, Perfect Dark is technically a better game, and GoldenEye only works with, like, I hear GoldenEye is actually, that Donkey video says that GoldenEye is good if you have PC control, right? If you can use a keyboard and mouse. Because it does not age well on a controller. But, you never know. I could see GoldenEye. And then the other Switch-related thing that I just want to talk about real quick is Xbox Game Pass, or Xbox Game Pass, xCloud, whatever it's called on Switch. Like I said, I saw a term coined recently by I want to say it was Andy Cortez, WND, a weird Nintendo decision. If you were to be like, hey, Xbox Game Pass or xCloud on Switch, I'd be like, no, never in a million years. But Nintendo this past 5 years have been really weird, and they make a lot of weird Nintendo decisions. So Xbox Game Pass or xCloud could totally come to Switch. I don't know. A lot of people have been talking recently because there has been a Nintendo Switch in the background of a bunch of Xbox streams recently. So the talk has been like, hey, what if there's been an Xbox recently, or what if there's been a Switch? Because like the Xbox Series S was in the background of some Xbox showcases before it was ever officially revealed. What if they put a Switch in the background to hint that Xbox is coming to Switch? That is totally possible. It's not. Nothing is impossible, I should say. You know, God damn it, you idiots! Once you're winning, you literally just have to play defense, and you can never lose this game. But nobody plays defense because you all suck. Because you're all so busy trying to screw over the other people that just one or two of us can ruin us. Like we're getting our asses kicked now. Well, look how good Blue is doing. And I guarantee you Blue is playing defense. God, I hate it. Yeah, they literally just... Okay, we somehow managed to win that still. God, I hate it. But yeah, Xbox xCloud could totally come to Switch. There was also another evidence in the favor of this happening was Nintendo had stricken from court documents in the Epic versus Apple lawsuit about something, and the pages prior to it related to Xbox xCloud stuff. So, and Nintendo had the pages stricken, so it might have some dealings to do with Xbox and Nintendo. That's not out of the cards at all. So yeah, I don't know. Nothing may come from that, but it may. I don't know if that would happen if that would probably happen in Xbox's show, and it may not even. It may just happen in like some other thing. It could happen at any moment, but I would not be in any way surprised if that happened. And the last thing I got for Nintendo, the last thing that I could see happening is or the last thing I want from Xbox, and this isn't really a prediction in your traditional sense. The last thing I want from Xbox is I want a surprise. And I'm not just talking like the one more right, like you know how like shows end and it's like, hey, here's one more thing. No, I'm talking like Xbox has been buying up tons of studios. Admittedly, there's probably a lot of stuff I'm just straight up forgetting. But I know Xbox has been buying up a ton of studios, and part of the hope with that is that they'll actually fucking do something with them. One of Xbox's biggest problems is they don't have any first-party games. So hey, Xbox has been buying up all these studios. Maybe we'll finally get some first-party games. And I know we're going to talk about Starfield in a second. And yeah, that's going to be... God, we got our ass kicked. How are you all so bad at this? I know you're AFK, but... Yeah, no, the hope is that, hey, maybe Xbox will finally get something first-party related. Wouldn't that be fantastic? So yeah, I'm hoping Xbox, because Xbox was a company I was very down on, and then rather recently they've been doing a very good job at things, so I'm more optimistic. I'm more... Right, at the start of last generation, I was like, fuck Xbox. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But then with Xbox Game Pass, Xbox has been doing a lot better. Right? I bet some of our teammates scored our own goal. I know we were doing fucking terrible. I scored the only goal that round. But yeah, I bet one of our teammates scored our own goal. I would not be surprised. But, yeah, I think Xbox needs to finally step up, show some first-party shit. Right, they've been buying up all these studios. Fucking do something with them. And I know we're going to talk about Bethesda here in a second, and I know Bethesda's going to do something. But you know, I also want Xbox. Xbox needs to do something at some point. And I just want to see, besides Halo Infinite, you can't make a console on just Halo and Gears games. Because that's what the Xbox the Xbox One was. And I guess Forza as well. And guess what? That console didn't do well. Didn't do as bad as the Wii U, but it did not do well. So let's talk about Bethesda. Starfield. I think kind of like how they did a big blowout year for Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, I expect a big blowout for Starfield. I've talked before, I think Starfield has the potential to be the best Bethesda game. Because whereas Fallout 4 and Skyrim are limited by the fact that they are from the Fallout series and from the Elder Scrolls series, Starfield is an original IP, not linked to anything else. So the system of exploration, combat, and looting, where you explore an open world, you find a place, you kill the enemies, and then you loot for stuff to take back to your ship or whatever, and then you go off and explore a truly brilliant open world. That system is the best it could ever be. I thought Fallout 76 had the potential to really do it, right? I know people want, what about skill points and dialogue trees and all that. None of that shit. You go talk to an NPC, you get a mission, you explore, you fight some things, and you loot. Right? That system that Bethesda is really good at, just make a game like that. I think Starfield has the potential to be an amazing Bethesda game. I really do. It's just a question of, will they do it? Because I also could see, Starfield itself, I expect to be like Mass Effect. As if Bethesda combined like Fallout 4 and Skyrim with Mass Effect. And I know some people don't like that idea, but you know what? That's what I personally expect. Will that actually be it? Who knows? But that's what I think it's going to be. And I like Skyrim. I like Fallout 4. The idea of a Bethesda-style Mass Effect game where you go to planets, you explore, you fight some combat things, and then you loot stuff and you take it back to your ship, and your ship is like your hub, your home base that you can like fully customize. It seems kind of simple, but I don't know, I think that would be very fun. As long as they do it right. Of course, it's going to be buggy beyond all belief, obviously, right? Because, Skyrim was very buggy, and reviewers were like, this is fine. Fallout 4 was even worse, and reviewers were like, this is fine. Fallout 76 was fucking atrocious. Unplayable in a lot of points. And reviewers were like, okay, we've had enough. So it'll probably be more on, like, Fallout 4 Skyrim levels. And, of course, Bethesda's not going to patch it. Right? Like, the only reason Fallout 76 gets patches is because they're still trying to sell microtransactions and loot boxes. Will this have microtransactions and loot boxes? Probably, sadly, because out of the big three AAA publishers, Microsoft is the most open to putting microtransactions and loot boxes in their games. Right? They've done it before with games like Rise, Son of Rome, so I would not be surprised. Of course, you hope... One of the important things about a first-party game is that it should show the best of what your console has to offer. Nintendo knows this, Sony knows this, Microsoft does not know this. At least they haven't proven so far that they do, and they could totally screw this up with Halo Infinite, and they could screw this up with Starfield. Right, we don't know yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do put microtransactions and other bullshit into this game. It would not... I hope it doesn't happen, but would it really surprise you if they did? Release date... Okay, so for release, it is going to be Xbox and PlayStation exclusive, or Xbox and PC exclusive. It's not going to be on PlayStation. It's obviously not going to be on Switch or Switch Pro or whatever the fuck. And I think it's going to be next year. It's going to be on Game Pass, and I know people are going to be excited about that. I think, next year, early next year, maybe. I don't know. The original, right, people like Jeff Grubb came out and were like, oh, it's going to be early next year. Then Jason Schreier was like, no, those people are wrong. It's going to be later next year. Which one of those is it actually going to be? Who knows? I don't know. Personally, I would think it would be early next year. This game's been announced for years now. I mean, we've known about this game for years. It was officially announced 2 years ago. And like I said, Fallout 4 was a really quick turnaround. Fallout 4 was announced and released, I think, within like a 6-month period. Fallout 76 was the same thing. I think it might have been 8 months, but it was all really close together. I could see them trying to do something very similar for Starfield, announce it, and then less than a year later trying to get it out. But who knows? I don't know. Personally, I'm more inclined to say earlier, but this is Bethesda, and again, COVID is still a thing. Next up, I think we're going to see another trailer for Deathloop. I know Deathloop is PlayStation exclusive, but maybe there's some sort of contractual thing, so I expect to see Deathloop. Ghostwire Tokyo, same thing. It's also PlayStation exclusive. We know Deathloop is coming out in, December? I don't know. I'm so sick of seeing trailers for Deathloop. We know everything we need to know about Deathloop. Get up, you bean. I don't need to know anything more about Deathloop. Honestly, I am good. I have seen everything I want to see off of Deathloop. I've seen everything at like 2 trailers ago. And we're at like trailer number 9 or something insane like that. I'm good with Deathloop. But I guarantee you we're gonna get something. I would honestly be shocked if we don't. Ghostwire Tokyo. Ghostwire Tokyo we've actually seen a lot less about. But I would also not be surprised if we see more of Ghostwire Tokyo. It's also PlayStation exclusive. I think it's probably not releasing this year, because we know Deathloop is the very end of the year. Ghostwire Tokyo, I don't think it's probably also the very end of the year. But I would not be surprised if we see more of it. But yeah, those are PlayStation exclusives. Microsoft has said they are going to honor their PlayStation exclusivity. Of course, I think they also are coming to PC. And Microsoft could totally, theoretically, cheat the system by putting them on Game Pass for PC. But I don't think they will. I think Microsoft's gonna, it's not gonna be anything like that. And I think they're only like a year of exclusivity. I don't think it's going to last forever. I think it's just a year. I don't know. I could be wrong about that one. Totally. But yeah, I think we're going to see both of those. And then, other than that, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see anything else from Bethesda. Like, I don't have anything written down here. We could totally see other stuff from Bethesda. You know, there was a rumor a while ago about like, oh god, I tried. I was close. If I could have gone over to the other side. I do wonder where the last guy was. So real quick, I'm gonna I've talked before about like hexagons and low gravity. They just made a mode that was hexagons and low gravity, and I think that's really cool. I think hexagons and low gravity it's very different, but I kind of like it. I feel like it's a fresh take on hexagon, and I'm really glad they did it. And it's also really cool that this is just its own straight up mode. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, lastly, I heard something about Fallout 3 Remastered. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm totally off base with this, especially with Starfield coming out. But I could totally see them doing Fallout 3 Remastered. I've played Fallout 4, I've played Skyrim, I have never played Fallout 3. I actually know very little. Okay, I've seen Let's Plays and whatnot of Fallout 3. I know you blow up Megaton, I know people weren't happy with the ending, yada yada yada. I don't know. Because I don't think we're going to see anything from New Vegas, obviously. I mean, it'd be cool to see that, like, it'd be, like, the idea that, like, the second Microsoft bought Bethesda, they were like, hey, people seem to love this New Vegas, let's put a New Vegas remaster together, right? Wouldn't that be cool? But of course, we wouldn't see anything of that for at least another year. But the idea of Fallout 3 Remastered, even before the Microsoft purchase, I could see that happening, and I could see that coming to all systems. I could see that coming to PlayStation, I could see that coming to Switch. right? Because I always expect, like, the two games I always expected to come to Switch were GTA 5 and Fallout 4, and neither of those ever happened. Right? Those were two games where I was like, of course these are going to come to... Oh, and I guess Persona 5, but... And I at this point, I don't expect any of those three to happen. But I could have seen it, and yeah. So I guess I'm predicting Fallout 4 Remastered, even though I don't think it's going to happen. It'd be a cool get. I guess let's move over to Squeenix. So, do we see Final Fantasy 16? I do not think so. I think that's still a long ways away. I know people would be excited for Fallout, or to see Final Fantasy 16, but was that shown off at the PlayStation conference? I don't know. We might. I'm not going to say it's 0, because I don't know. I feel like, because Final Fantasy 15 didn't it take like 10 years? It was it took an insane amount of time to get Final Fantasy 15 done. So Final Fantasy 16, I think, would take just as long. It'd be a long amount of time. And I know they showed it off last year, but I don't expect to see anything. I would not be surprised if we see Final Fantasy 14. I know people like Final Fantasy 14, especially after, what was it called, A Realm Reborn. I would not be surprised if we see Final Fantasy 14 around the new whatever, because like during the Bethesda thing, I would not be surprised if we see something about Elder Scrolls Online. During the Square Enix thing, I would not be surprised if we see something on Final Fantasy 14, because I know people still like that. I think they're still updating it, because Final Fantasy 14's this big online thing. There were some Square Enix leaks recently about like some sort of Final Fantasy remake. It was called like Final Fantasy Origins. I don't have any of that written down, but I would also not be surprised if we see any of that. Or I expect to see all that. These leaks, right? Kind of like what I was talking about with the Marvel XCOM thing. I expect to see some of it, but I don't know anything about anything. Like, I don't even remember what the rumors were. But yeah, I expect to see that. But yeah, we might see Fallout or Final Fantasy 16, but I don't think we will. Personally, I'm rooting against it. I do think we see Marvel's Avengers. Specifically the Black Panther and Wakanda stuff. Right? We talked about how they fucked up that game by making it more grindy. It's got your microtransaction season pass bullshit in it. That's, even though it was a $60 game. Of course you can buy it for like $10 nowadays. I don't know. Greg Miller still stands by that game. I always especially because it's like $10. I'm like, maybe one of these days I'll pick it up, But I have no plans at the imminent time. But yeah, that's right around the corner. It really is. It's so soon. And, yeah, we know they're doing Wakanda next. That's, like, the next big DLC that people are... That, like, the Greg Miller and, like, the 10 other people who play that game are, I guess, excited for. I don't plan on picking it up, of course. Again, $10 is $10. Alright, I know, like, the joke, $20 is $20. But $10 is $10. I have bought worse games for less money. Fallout 76. But yeah, the Black Panther stuff, that's what I expect them to show off that. Maybe make it look cool. Even though, again, it's still Marvel's Avengers at the end of the day. We might also finally see Spider-Man. We know Spider-Man is PS4 exclusive. And I guess it would be cool to finally see what Spider-Man looks like in this game. I don't know. Again, because unless you bought the PS4 version, you bought an inferior version of the game. But I would not be surprised if we see Spider-Man. So yeah, that'd be cool, I guess. I don't know, because again, I liked Insomniac's Spider-Man game. Such a good game, and I'm expecting it to be the same Spider-Man, because they mention in that game, they make direct reference to the Avengers moving to the West Coast. So yeah, I would not be surprised if it's Yuri Lowenthal is back as Spider-Man, and if we finally see that. I would be in no way surprised. Speaking of Marvel, though, there has been a rumor that came out recently, just like in the past like few days, about Eidos Montreal, EIO or EOD, whatever, Eidos Montreal, whatever the studio is. There is a rumor they are working on a Guardians of the Galaxy game, and that we are going to see it at E3. And you know what? I 100% believe that. That, yeah, we are going to see that at E3. What is it going to be another Marvel's Avengers style game? Is it going to be like more of a story-driven game? Is it going to be multiplayer? Is it going to be single player with you like switching off between the different characters? I don't know. I know there was a Telltale Guardians of the Galaxy game that nobody liked. But I don't know, the idea of like a new Guardians of the Galaxy game, that sounds fine in theory. It's just, the worry is, it's Square Enix screwed up Marvel's Avengers. Are they going to screw up a Guardians of the Galaxy game? The hope is no, but you know, they screwed up and now admittedly, one of the complaints about Marvel's Avengers that they all look like off-brand, right, dollar store Avengers. I don't agree with. I think, right, it's its own take, and I think it's a fine take. I'm at least, just again, as someone who didn't play the game, I was like, you know, this is fine. I don't agree with that take, but I know a lot of people did not like the designs, even though I think they did finally add the endgame costumes. So yeah, that happened at some point. But yeah, I don't know. Is this going to be another off-brand thing? Maybe, totally. I mean, it's definitely not going to be Chris Pratt. I can tell you that much. I mean, it could be Vin Diesel. You know how Vin Diesel works. Vin Diesel would do it. God, remember when they got Keanu Reeves and the Wachowskis to direct the Matrix game? Remember when they got the Charlie's Angels to be in the Charlie's Angels game? Yeah, stuff like that used to happen for movie tie-ins. But yeah, I don't know. The Guardians of the Galaxy game could be fun. It could be a total fuck up again. Nothing is out of the cards yet. I'm cautiously pessimistic. I don't know, I like the idea of like a single player Guardians of the Galaxy game where you're switching off between all the different Guardians. That sounds fun. It's just, is that what we're gonna get? And personally, I don't think so. Yeah. So I expect to see that. Next up, that Project Triangle strategy, you know, that Switch game, I would not be surprised if we see a little bit of that here. Give it an actual fucking name, maybe. Like, please don't call it Project Triangle Strategy. Like, come on, give it an actual, like, name. Like, Octopath Traveler was a fine name, and I think it did a fine job at describing what that game was. But please don't do that again. Like, please, come on. Oh my god, you actually made that jump. But yeah, I would not be surprised if we see that. What else? I don't have any ideas for names, and I don't think that comes out until next year, but I would not be surprised if we get like an actual, like another trailer with like a proper name and whatnot. Also, well, you know, that style of like RPG, I expect another one of those, right? Like in that like good, like I know we just got the Dragon Quest III remake, and we just got all the Dragon Quest news. I don't expect to get any more Dragon Quest news, obviously. But I would not be surprised if we get like another RPG remake or another RPG in the style of whatever the heck is going on with like Project Triangle Strategy. Oh, that goose just won. That goose was so clever. I shouldn't have jumped. I shouldn't have jumped and done what that goose did. Yep. But yeah, I would not be surprised if we get, right, the dream would be Chrono Trigger. People love Chrono Trigger. That iOS port a few years ago was fucking terrible. we would love, or I think it was the PC port, which was just the iOS version. We'd love to see a proper version of, oh, that's interesting. I just realized my stream timer is ahead by like 6 seconds. Huh. That's interesting. I guess it's... I wonder how that happened. Yeah, because my thing is that it's just hit 2012 and mine's at 2018. Huh, interesting. But yeah, Chrono Trigger, that'd be the dream, but hey, there's a ton of other stuff they could do. But yeah, they usually do some... Like, I know there's been like a bunch of weird RPGs that Square Enix shows off at every E3. I don't remember the names of any of them, but we're probably going to get one of them. But yeah, I know we're getting that Dragon Quest III remake, but I would love to see a Chrono Trigger remake. That would be amazing. In like that style of that, like, I don't know, whatever. Forspoken was a game Square Enix showed off in like 2019, I think. Written by Gary Whitta, which I was surprised when I was looking up like Square Enix games. I was surprised to find out it was written by Gary Whitta, but yeah, sure enough. So yeah, that's right around the bend, and we'll probably see some more of Forspoken. I can almost guarantee it we will, because yeah, I think it was slated for last year, and then it got delayed, and then, you know, COVID, and yeah. But yeah, I think we'll see more. I think I don't know. I don't know. I'm expecting to see more Forspoken. It's like this. It's just like an. I don't. Is. Oh no, that's Bandai Namco. Okay. But yeah, I don't like look it up. Look up the trailer for yourself. I don't really know how to describe. It's an action adventure game. I don't know. But I expect to see more of that. And then finally, I expect to see something from, you know, Square Enix has a few Western studios. It's been a few years since Shadow of the Tomb Raider came out, and while I don't think that game was too well received, you know, people would be down for a new Shadow of the Tomb, or a new Tomb Raider game. It'd be cool to see a remake of one of, like, because it is Tomb Raider's 25th anniversary this year, and, you know, people would love to see, like, a remake of one of those classic Tomb Raider games with some better controls, because the controls on those original games are fucking terrible, because, you know, it's PlayStation 1. Or PSX, I guess is the proper name. I don't know. You know, a remake of some of those classic, the classic Tomb Raider would be great. I know people would eat that up. It doesn't even have to look amazing. Like, it doesn't even have to be like an amazing remake. Just like a good, like, visual and control upgrade would be enough for people, because people like those original Tomb Raider games. Right? You don't have to connect it to the new universe or anything complicated like that. Or the other one I could see, so if you know, we'll talk about it later, because God, we still have to do WIBE tonight. Or, you know what, we might not even do WIBE tonight. It's been so long. We're definitely going to 3 hours. But, God, we should have just done E3 predictions. But, I've been playing Just Cause 4. I've been playing Just Cause 3. I beat Just Cause 3. Again, we'll talk about it later. But the original Just Cause was an original Xbox game. Just Cause 2 was an Xbox 360 game. Just Cause 3 was a Xbox One, PS4, and I'm pretty sure there's also released on the PlayStation consoles. But yeah, it's usually one Just Cause per generation until Just Cause 4 ruined it. But it's been a few years since Just Cause 4. I think Avalanche Games has done, like, I know they've helped out with some other things since then, but I don't think they're doing that much out. Like, I don't think they've done a game since Just Cause 4. And I think that was like 2018. So I would not be surprised if for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, maybe even with backwards compatibility, we get Just Cause 6. Or Just Cause 5, I mean. I don't know what big new fucking explosion, Michael Bay style disaster they'd add into it. But I would not be surprised if we get Just Cause 5. It's been a while, you know, people love those games. Maybe make every building full, like do the red faction thing and make every building fully destructible, right? I know that would be a big deal, because right now, because I know like 4 added in weather, right? Like tornadoes, and I think it also, you could like, because you get like explosives and like rockets in 4, or in 3, you get explosives, rockets, and the advanced tether. And in 4, they added balloons. And yeah, tornadoes and hurricanes and shit like that. So yeah, I would not be surprised if the big thing for 5 is that everything can be blown up. Right? Everything is destructible. And maybe they add, because like the balloons in the the trigger explosives are like super fun to mess around with. So I would not be surprised if they add some new like elements to that, like add a new, kind of like how the balloon, where they went from the trigger explosives in 3 to the balloons in 4. I would not be surprised if they add some sort of new crazy thing in 5. But yeah, I could totally see a Just Cause 5. I know 4 wasn't too well received, because, you know, 3 the way 3 the 3 story kind of feels like an end to the series, or at least it feels like it should be. And then they just, even though there is one plot point that is, I've never played 4, but if they, like, the fact that they've done a 4, there is one specific plot point where I'm like, yeah, that would be your plot point for Just Cause 4. And I'm assuming that's what happens in Just Cause 4, even though, again, I haven't played it, and I might. We'll see. Yeah, that would not be surprised if that happens. Next up is Bandai Namco. We're almost at Nintendo. So technically, Bandai Namco show is after Nintendo's, but you know we're gonna do. I'm saving Nintendo for last, obviously. Bandai Namco, Elden Ring. People are foaming at the mouth for this game, right? Dark Souls meets not Guillermo del Toro. Dark Souls. Even though Dark Souls meets Guillermo del Toro also sounds amazing. It's Dark Souls meets George R.R. Martin, and you know I do think we're gonna see something. We're gonna get a trailer. Maybe we'll get some gameplay. I don't think it's coming till next year. I don't think we're gonna get a release date. It might say like 2022. It might not even have a release year. That's totally possible. If we don't see gameplay, it's not gonna have a release year. If we see gameplay, we're gonna see it. But yeah, I think no matter what, it's next year at the next fall at the earliest. I don't know. This thing seems like it's a lifetime away, honestly. But I know people really want this, so I think they're gonna Bandai Namco is gonna show something. I do think it is inevitable they show something, but no matter what, yeah, people are gonna be craving out the mouth because they want more. Scarlet Nexus. Scarlet Nexus is best described as Bandai Namco's Astral Chain. It looks good, I guess. I guess it looks good. I don't know. I haven't played Astral Chain, and I don't plan on playing Scarlet Nexus. But it looks fine. It's an anime game, you know. Sure, so what? So what? Speaking of anime games, I do expect to see one of them. There has been a rumor of a My Hero Academia game that came out in like the past day or two. I would not be surprised if that's what we see, but I would also not be surprised if we see a new Dragon Ball game. People like Fighter Z, people like was it called Kakarot? Whatever. People like those games. I would not be surprised if we see a new one. But I could also, yeah, totally see a My Hero Academia thing. I know they tried to do Jump Force a few years ago, and it was fucking terrible by all accounts. Oh, shit. Come on. But yeah, so I would not be surprised if we see any of that, or all of that, correction. Yeah, some sort of new anime fighting game, because you know that's what Bandai Namco has been doing recently. And then this might be where we find out more about Pac-Man 99. I know people love that Pac-Man 99, and there has been rumors recently, or no, there hasn't been any rumors, but I would not be surprised if we see like a new update that adds in all sorts of new things. I don't know, I know people like it. The joke I have written down here is Pac-Man Championship Edition 3, which also, like, yeah, no, Pac-Man Championship Edition 3 makes sense. Yeah, sure, that makes sense to see. That makes sense to be a new Pac-Man thing, because, you know, Bandai Namco loves to rely on those classic Namco games that people love, and yeah, I mean, they love them for good reasons. Yeah, I would not be surprised if we see something from that, like some Namco, right, pole position, now in HD, now with all these fancy fucking graphics and whatnot. We're not gonna make it. Nope. Yeah, I would expect something like, yeah, Pac-Man 99 to be like, hey, here's the new update, here's a new thing we're at, Miss Pac-Man, right? We're adding Miss Pac-Man. That'd be cool, but of course copyright's bullshit, so. Or some, you know, there's some copyright complication as to why that will never happen. Because it's, yeah. But yeah, oh, that's all I've got for Bandai Namco. I don't know much. I don't expect them. I don't know. It's Bandai Namco. Who cares? Again, this, if I don't stream this conference, I would not be surprised. It's Bandai Namco. Like, come on. And then lastly, that brings us to Nintendo. This is the big one. We've got 3 pages of notes on this one. I'm gonna switch back to the team battle royale bullshit, because clearly I'm doing okay at this mode, but I'm not doing great. So, for Nintendo, obviously the big thing is Breath of the Wild. We're gonna see Breath of the Wild 2. It's gonna be what Breath of the Wild was to Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild 2 is to Majora's Mask. It's gonna have a darker theme, hopefully. It might even be visually darker, like use darker color palettes, darker, creepier music, right? I expect all that. Floating islands, I think they're gonna probably reuse or use a similar map to Breath of the Wild, but I expect a big thing to be like floating islands, and I think to that end we're gonna have some, like, kind of like how you had horses in the original and you had the Master Cycle for the DLC. I expect in this one we get floating islands, and maybe they bring back the Loft Wing, or maybe you get like some sort of like flying bird thing. I expect something like that, like floating islands with like a loft wing or whatever. That would be cool. That'd be a cool thing to see. I don't know, right? Really like go into the promise of like Skyward Sword as like this flying adventure through the sky. Like really live up to that. Of course, you know, you'd have to do some interesting stuff on it. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really see where they could go with the Breath of the Wild 2. Because like the spoiler alert for the original Breath of the Wild, it ends with the, like, Ganon destroys himself to end the reincarnation cycle, right? On the timeline, he destroys himself to end the reincarnation cycle. So like whatever the villain is, it can't be Ganon, or it's Ganon's body, but maybe it's something like possessing Ganon's body or something, right? But yeah, I expect something like that. The hookshot, Horizon Zero Dawn has a hookshot. Even though Breath of the Wild's big thing is about exploration, I am surprised there isn't a hookshot. Because a hookshot adds its own level of, like, exploration. Even, like, bring in double claw shots from Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. Double claw shots were cool, right? Bring back that stuff. I don't know, that I've seen, like, there's this mock-up of like spirit items, and one of them is like a spirit hook shot, and there's a few other ones, and it's just like, oh, those are some cool ideas, right? All the, like, the spirit, I don't know, you can look it up, you can find it probably, but yeah, it's like spirit items, and it's like, oh, that might be fun, right? But yeah, I think the hook shot should come back, because the hook shot's just a cool item. Playable Zelda. I think it, right, part of the bullshit that while Breath of the Wild is an amazing game, there was a lot of people were like, hey, since Link is a silent protagonist, it doesn't matter if Link is a boy or a girl. Give us a playable Link. Or give us a female, right? Especially because they created Linkle. Give us a female Link. That was one of the things people really wanted in the lead up to Breath of the Wild. And I 100% agree. There is no... Link is a silent protagonist. His character is glutton and protective, I guess. Hero, right? He's Paragon hero type. Link has no character. So him being a female, would not change anything. So yes, female Link or playable Zelda. I'm more in favor of playable Zelda at least for Breath of the Wild 2. Just do a playable Zelda. People really the Breath of the Wild, because of Age of Calamity, right? The Breath of the Wild timeline is like, people love the characters. I do anyways. And so Zelda's an interest. I like Breath of the Wild Zelda. I liked Age of Calamity, even though I never beat it. Because again, my Switch broke. But I would love to see them actually like have playable Zelda. Maybe you can switch off between like, kind of like Elizabeth in BioShock. But as in this, like, you could switch off with Zelda to like do magic. Like, I don't want her, like, that scene we see in the trailer for Breath of the Wild 2. I don't just want that scene and Zelda gets kidnapped and that's the last we see of her until the end of the game. Fuck that. That is boring as shit. Give us playable Zelda. Maybe even switch it. Maybe the big thing with Breath of the Wild 2 is that Link is kidnapped and you have to save Link as Zelda. Wouldn't that be cool? I think it would be. Yeah, just no playable Link. Fuck it. Why not? It's The Legend of Zelda. Just fucking do it, you pussies. Also, there might... Okay, so spoiler alert for Age of Calamity. There's time travel shit going on in Age of Calamity. And it fucks with the timeline. And it's all... not... I guess not canon, but more it exists on its own timeline, separate from Breath of the Wild. And I wonder how that... Again, I didn't beat Age of Calamity. So maybe some crazy shit... And I'm fine with time travel stuff, personally. I feel like that... I know people wanted to play out the Great Calamity. And I know people would have been happy to see them play out the Great Calamity in Age of Calamity. I'm fine with the time travel stuff. I feel like the time travel stuff allowed them to do more interesting things. Tell a more interesting story. But I know personally people fucking hated it. Some people really fucking hated it. I thought it was fine. Honestly, I thought it was fine. Did it make the story a little weaker? Maybe, but I liked it. I thought it was fine. But yeah, could there be some sort of Age of Calamity tie-in? Could this theoretically take place on the Age of Calamity timeline? Maybe. Wouldn't that be the craziest shit? Is if the original timeline just ends in the terrible place, and then Breath of the Wild 2 instead takes place on the Age of Calamity timeline? Oh, that'd be crazy. Hey, Ape TV 16, how you doing? Nice to see ya. We're talking E3 predictions. Got any E3 predictions? But yeah, Breath of the Wild, and then, for release date for Breath of the Wild 2, my only guess is it's going to release whenever the Switch Pro does. If the Switch Pro is also whenever, for Horizon Forbidden West does. Much like how the original Horizon, Zero Dawn and Breath of the Wild released within a month of each other, I'm guessing Breath of the Wild 2 and Horizon Forbidden West will release in a month of each other. That's my guess. Maybe that would put it in like a December. Like, I know the original I know Nintendo has put out several games in like the first week of December. It's totally possible that it can put out like first week of December, but I could also see them being pushed to next year. Honestly, if it releases in it's like March, like Breath of the Wild came out in March 2017, I would not be surprised if Breath of the Wild 2 came out in March of 2022. I don't hope I want it this year, but if it comes out next year, it happens, you know. It sucks, but it happens. Also, I got kicked out. But yeah, I think my guess would be whenever the Switch Pro comes out, let's say October, Breath of the Wild 2 comes out in October. That's my guess. Because I think when the Switch Pro comes out, you're gonna want something to be like, hey, I know you could always just release a patch for the original Breath of the Wild that makes it look even better, but I'd love to just see them put out something more. And I know probably that Legends Arceus is probably also gonna look great on the Switch Pro, but you know, I'd love to see Breath of the Wild just come out around the same. I just think it makes sense. Just some big game, like, because didn't God of War and the PS4 Pro come out like around the same time? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I don't know. Yeah, we'll talk about the Switch Pro a little later. When it comes to also with Zelda, it is still Zelda's 35th anniversary. I do think we're gonna get I think it would just make sense for Nintendo to do a double pack with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Both games, $60. Of course, knowing Nintendo, they charge fucking 80 because they're fucking Nintendo. And they love the $60 price point, even though we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I do think Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are going to get ports. I would love to see Ocarina of Time and Majora. I'd love... Because, you know, it's either Wind Waker and Twilight Princess get their Wii U ports on the Switch, or we get Ocarina, Majora, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess, but they're all the original N64 and GameCube games. They have not been uprised. It's not the, like, remakes. It's just the original. I could see that happening. And I know people would hate that, but, you know, this is Nintendo, and Nintendo is weird. How am I doing? I'm doing fine. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. I'm very tired. And that summer classes in college start next week, so I'm about to be very busy. So I guess I'm enjoying my last few days of freedom before it then goes back to it shifts into overdrive. Not until I shift into maximum overdrive. Yeah, I'm tired. What about you? You doing good? Nice. Also, at with Zelda at E3, I would not be surprised if, maybe not during the actual Direct, but during the Treehouse, they pull out Skyward Sword HD. And they show Skyward Sword HD, and like they show some of the new like gameplay improvements. Or maybe we get like an overview trailer that's like, hey, here are some of the new changes you can expect in Skyward Sword HD. Fi will finally shut the fuck up. Some of the tediousness of like collecting all the things, like in the text boxes that repeat 1,000 times won't repeat 1,000 times. You only get them once, right? Just some of the minor changes to Skyward Sword HD. I'd love to get like an overview of that. Of course, the whole thing with the Loftwing amiibo is bullshit, right? We've said it's bullshit. I'm still going to buy it because I am a slave to Nintendo's brand, but that's gonna happen regardless. Yeah, the best I can be. I get that. Best you can be. Yeah. Yeah, I don't expect much from Skyward Sword. We may only get that overview trailer at like some other time, or maybe from like a preview that like people get later on in the month. So that may not be connected to E3 at all, but we might get something from Skyward Sword. Next up, so there were the rumors swirling around recently about a new Donkey Kong game. Is it 2D? Is it 3D? Is it both? It could be both. I mean, what was that game? Oh, that was a Crash Bandicoot racing game, where it was a racing game, but it had a 3D hub world. Like there was a hub world that was like an amusement park that you could explore and like get collectibles. It could be that. It could be a 2D Donkey Kong game with like a 3D overworld you can explore. And that would explain all the conflicting reports about how some people think it's 3D, some people think it's 2D. Maybe that's it. But if between it being a 3D and a 2D Donkey Kong game, I am leaning towards it being a 3D Donkey Kong game. I think it just makes more sense. My guess as a name. So okay, so I don't know why I thought of this, but we've had so it's like Donkey Kong, and we've had Donkey Kong Country. What if it's like Donkey Kong World? Right? I know, like, we had Super Mario Brothers, and then we had Super Mario World, and then we jumped up to Super Mario Galaxy. Well, we've had Donkey Kong, we've had Donkey Kong Country, now it's time for Donkey Kong World, or Donkey Kong Universe. Right? That's my idea for a name. It's dumb, but it's totally on brand for what Nintendo would do. Also, I expect the rumors had that King K. Rool was coming back. Because, you know, Donkey Kong Country Returns had the Masked People. Tropical Freeze had the Vikings. I don't remember what their names were. So with King K. Rool coming back, yeah, I can totally see that. I can totally see King K. Rool coming back. I don't know. I feel like he's returned in popularity because of Smash Bros. Because, you know, he's King K. Rool got into Smash Bros. So, yeah, I could totally see that happening. And I do think it's probably going to release this year. That's more likely than not. It's a release date of later this year. If it's true. Of course, I do personally still hope we could see Odyssey 2. Because Super Mario Odyssey never got DLC. Okay, yes, there was that Luigi's Mansion Balloon World thing. But, like, Breath of the Wild got an entire, like, DLC dungeon and everything. Mario Odyssey never... Like, there were rumors about, like, Mario Sunshine stuff. But that was... And it was even in some of the promotional material. But then, before release, it all got pulled. None of that ever happened with Mario Sunshine. So I think we might see a Mario Odyssey 2. I know, well, okay, but supposedly the team that's making the Donkey Kong is doing... Or the team that made Mario Odyssey is now doing the Donkey Kong. Who's to say it can't... This team's not big enough to do 2 games at once? Especially if it's a 2D game? Yeah, no, it's totally possible that both teams could be, like, working on it. Or they could bring in an outside team to help out on Mario Odyssey. Monolith Soft helped out on Breath of the Wild, and Monolith Soft is confirmed. Monolith Soft does the Xenoblade Chronicles games. They are confirmed to be helping out on Mario Odyssey, or on Breath of the Wild 2. So yeah, no, I mean, they could totally bring in another, because this is Nintendo EDP that did Mario Odyssey and is doing this rumored Donkey Kong game. It's totally possible they bring in a different Nintendo studio to help out. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, of course, it's also possible that part of Nintendo EDP went off to help on the Kirby game. That's rumored. And that the remaining part of the team that stayed behind is doing this Donkey Kong game because they're the remaining part of the team. That's also totally possible. And we'll talk about the Kirby thing next. But yeah, I personally want more. I'd rather have Mario Odyssey 2 than a new Donkey Kong thing. I think Mario Odyssey 2 would be way more interesting. If I had any predictions for it, I'd say it'd be 2-player. 2 people at the same time, so you could have, maybe even over the internet, that you could have, like, you and a friend could go in your Mario Odyssey world. And actually, like, I know Nintendo is fucking bullshit when it comes to this, and, like, normally, like, the second player stuff doesn't count or whatever, or it's all just bullshit. Maybe the second player, like, actually can progress and whatnot. I want it to be Mario 35th anniversary themed. Like, Nintendo had planned to reveal this last year for Mario's 35th anniversary, but it got COVID delayed. And as part of that, a big thing is that it's a tour de force of, like, every previous Mario game. So, like, the first level is based on the original Mario Brothers, right? Like, it's basically a 3D rendition of the original Mario Brothers. You go to a dream world that is Mario Brothers 3. That's Mario Brothers 2, I mean. You go to a place that represents Mario Land. You go back to Bob-omb Battlefield and Womp's Fortress. You go to Sahasra Land for Mario Land. I don't know. It's just basically a giant love letter because it's Mario Odyssey 2. So you're Odysseying back through all the past Mario games. I think that would be a lot of fun. Right? Like, just like all these classic Mario games, just like revisited and shown some love again. I don't know. I like the idea of that personally. Yeah, I don't know. That's just me. That's my idea for Mario Odyssey 2. Next up, Kirby. So I mentioned, right, what if part of EDP's work there? So okay, let's start from the beginning. During an interview, the developers of Kirby, How Labs or whatever, talked about how the next Kirby game was going to be big. Because Kirby has been using the same formula for the past, like, 4 games, and while that formula was good and created the best Kirby game, Planet Robobot, it's also become kind of stale, right? Like, a lot of people claim that Star Allies was unfinished. I don't agree with that. I think Star Allies was finished. It was just a mediocre game. Not bad. And I actually thought it was pretty good. Maybe great even. But that was just me. But I know a lot of people didn't like Star Allies. and I thought it was fine. Like, I don't think anybody hated it, but I know a lot of people just didn't love it. But I thought Star Allies was fine. I enjoyed my time with it. Doing the true arena, the truer arena. Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, so the talk is that the next Kirby game is going to be big. There was like a 3D mode in one of the Kirby games recently. So the rumor is that we're going to get like a Mario 64 style Kirby game. I love the sounds of that, honestly, because Kirby has done like some interesting things. Like Kirby did an open world 2D platformer with Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Kirby has experimented, and there was a Kirby 64 which was 3D, but it was like but it was only 3D in name. Like it was a 2D platformer. It was just styled in the style of 3D. But yeah, I think the idea of a 3D Kirby game could really work. I feel like it has a lot of potential. I don't know. Will we actually see it? I think so. It's Kirby Star Allies came out in 2018. That was 3 years ago now. I think it's finally time to see the new Kirby game. Will it come out this year? No. I think that game's early next year. Like because a part of me predicting everything right now is that I'm guessing we're going to get one game every month, right? So we're gonna get a game. We have Mario Golf for June. We have Skyward Sword for August or July, but I'm assuming we're gonna get one game every month after that. So we're gonna get something in August. We're gonna get something in September, October, November. Which November is Pokemon, but yeah. And then we know there's something coming in. The Legends Arceus is January, and Nintendo could release 2 games in November. We talked last week about how 3D World and Pokemon X and Y came out in the same month, as well as Island Tour. Right, they all came out within like days of each other. So yeah, anything's possible. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Or it was also Link Between Worlds, Mario Party Island Tour, and Super Mario 3D World all came out within like all came out on like the same day. And then Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and Smash Bros came out on the same day. Yep, that was it. So yeah, Nintendo could totally release Breath of the Wild 2 and Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire in the same month. Right? That's totally possible. But yeah, I think we're gonna get Kirby. I think it's gonna be early next year, February, March. Yeah, and hopefully it's good. Right. A 3D Kirby game sounds like a lot of fun if they do it right, and they're clearly taking their time with this one. And yeah, next up, Splatoon 3. We know it's next year. Again, I'm still predicting early next year. Probably, again, sometime in the March-May window-ish. Because I think the original Splatoon came out in May. Splatoon 2 was July, I think. So yeah, I could see it doing a May or an April or something like that. My big prediction is, and I don't think we find out the release date. I think they save that until later. But my big prediction is still Battle Royale mode, because there's no reason to make a new Splatoon unless you're adding something big. And I think the big thing is Battle Royale modes. Those have blown up, and while I know Nintendo is usually behind the curve, I think putting a Battle Royale mode in Splatoon would just make sense. I feel like there's totally potential there. I know Splatoon isn't entirely about like combat. Right, combat is secondary to Splatoon, but I'm sure they could make it work. Or like 100-player battle, which is all about you just painting this giant map. I don't know, that sounds kind of fun. And we know Nintendo has new servers now that they're probably going to start testing out. Like, probably Mario Golf might be the first game that uses these new servers. I'm not guaranteeing that. Even though, again, because we're paying Nintendo Online for fucking something, and their servers did run Windows 98, or their servers had a check for Windows 98. So yeah, fucking Nintendo. But yeah, I personally, I don't really think we're gonna see much of Splatoon 3, because it's far enough away. I could see them saving that for maybe a September Direct, maybe something even later than that. I could see that personally. I don't know. We could also totally see something from Splatoon 3. But yeah, I think the big thing is going to be a Battle Royale mode. Because Splatoon 2 added a Horde mode. and which, you know, is made famous from games like, which was invented by Gears of War. So horde modes aren't actually that old. And battle royale modes are very young, and usually Nintendo's behind the curve. But, you know, maybe Nintendo, right, they saw the battle royale was blowing up. They know how big Fortnite is, and they were like, well, let's put a battle royale in Splatoon. I know, I've talked to people, Tyrell, who loved Splatoon, really didn't want a battle royale, but I think it just makes sense. I haven't seen anybody else saying it, so maybe I'm the crazy one. But yeah. So the next thing we gotta show. So I gotta find. So this tweet came out. I'm gonna find it real quick. Here it is. So someone was doing a survey for Nintendo, and in the survey they point. So this was Beta 64. There's a very specific question about WarioWare, and the question is, at the price of $49.99, how interested are you buying the next game in the WarioWare series? WarioWare is a series starting that features collections of fast-paced micro games, each about 3 to 5 seconds. So that was the thing. So this tweet from Beta 64 was what got people, because people have been thinking, like, you know what, it makes sense for Nintendo to do a new WarioWare game. It's been, I think the last one was WarioWare Gold on 3DS, which was one of the last Nintendo published 3DS games, up there with like Mario Top 100 and Bowser's Inside Story remake. You know, the game that bankrupted Alpha Dream or whatever they were called. Yeah, WarioWare Gold. So it's been a few years, but I could see them doing a new WarioWare. I'd seen several people talking about it. But yeah, this question is like, yeah, maybe they are doing it, or maybe, and we might see it at E3. I could see it happening. I could see a new WarioWare. It's been a while. It just kind of makes sense, you know. I know people, of course, I know people also want a new Wario Land, which I think the last Wario Land game was on the Wii. But yeah, and then I like the idea, because one of the problems Nintendo has had recently is that they price all their games at $60. Because, you know, the Nintendo mark of quality is supposed to mean something, or whatever their bullshit is that they claim. So, right, the idea that Nintendo is considering charging, I know Miitopia was only $50, but still, I mean, Donkey Kong Country was $10 more than it was at launch. But yeah, the idea of Nintendo playing around with pricing, that's good. I like the idea of Nintendo maybe charging less for a game that... There used to be this thing... So, for the youngins out there, there used to be this thing called a middle shelf game, where it was a game that cost less money to make and made less money as a result, right? They were marketed with less money, and they sold less copies, but they also cost less money to make. This is a concept that has sadly died. Okay, it's kind of still around, but in weird ways. But it also kind of died because AAA game companies want to make all the money in the world. And middle shelf games don't make all the money in the world. Of course, there are still middle shelf games. The Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is a middle shelf game. The Crash Team Racing is a middle shelf game. However, Crash Team Racing got microtransactions because the companies still need to make all the money in the world. Fuck Activision Blizzard. I think Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake was a middle shelf game. Middle shelf games do still technically happen. They're just rarer. And yeah, a lot of companies don't... I was gonna quit. For some reason, a lot of companies... Yeah, they're mostly popular in like indie scenes nowadays, right? And indie games have even more flexible pricing. I mean, Hollow Knight is an insane amount of gameplay you get, and Hollow Knight's $15. I think I got it on sale for $8, and it's easily, if you look at like bang for your buck per, like, what's the least money you can spend for the most gameplay? Hollow Knight. Also, maybe kind of Minecraft, but that depends on if you like Minecraft. But yeah, a WarioWare game, I don't know. I like some of the WarioWare games, but I don't love them particularly. They're fine. But yeah, I did have a WarioWare DIY on the DS where you could like make your own micro games. That was fun. And that game's influences in things like Game Builder Garage and Super Mario Maker, but of course Mario Maker also has references to a Mario Paint. Next up, Mario Golf Super Rush or Star Rush or whatever the hell it was called. I do think we're going to see that game. But we already know about it. We know the full roster. We know some of the courses. We know about the story mode. I think it comes out in just a few weeks. There was just a press thing on it. Like, people from the press got a behind closed doors demo, like, earlier this week. But I do think we're going to see Mario Golf Super Rush, if only because we're going to see the DLC. I think we're finally going to see the DLC for Mario. We're going to see, like, maybe they're going to reveal, like, it's going to be free DLC, hopefully. But they're going to reveal, like, hey, guess what? The game releases in June, but in August, the first DLC character comes out. It's fucking Koopaling or whatever the fuck, because, you know, these games are fucking stupid. And hey, we've got this new DLC course. It's the Wispy Woods or whatever. Okay, it's not gonna be called. You know, it's like Spooky Forest or whatever, because, you know, Mario Golf is an unoriginal hack. I don't mean to shit on the game, I just am. It looks fine. It looks fine. Go play Golf Story. Golf Story is one of the best Switch games you can get. It's amazing. Phenomenal. But yeah, I do think we're going to see some Mario Golf DLC. Also, speaking of DLC, the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity expansion pass, you can purchase it, and the pre-purchase bonus, which is like a special armor set, and I think special weapon and whatnot, is available now. I think that just got released like last week. And during the showcase, they're probably going to show off the DLC. I think the first DLC, which comes out in June, I think, is a new character and some like new weapons and whatnot. It's not much, but I think we're gonna get a quick trailer that shows off said new character. Who could it be? I don't know. I legitimately have no idea. And then maybe we'll also get a hint at the second DLC, which I think comes out in November, which adds in a new character, but it also adds in new story stuff. And that seems more interesting, right? I'm more interested in the second half of this. But we'll see. That comes out. That's later this year, but I guarantee you we're going to get some of that. That's just like one of those safe things. Do I have Splatoon 3 written down twice? Huh, I have Splatoon 3 written down twice in my predictions. Huh, how interesting. I don't know why I did that. Next up, I guess let's talk Smash Bros. We are going to see a new Smash character. A lot of people are predicting we're going to see both characters. The E3 opens with, the Direct opens with one character, and the Direct ends with a second character. The reasoning I've seen behind this that seems to be popular is that if we get two characters because one of the characters is underwhelming, right? Like for Banjo and Hero. Give me a second. Oh, part of the thing, like the reason Banjo and Hero were revealed at the same time is because Hero is popular in Japan, right? The Dragon Quest Hero. Banjo is very popular in the West. So no matter if you are, you know, popular relatively speaking. Dragon Quest Hero is just genuinely very popular in Japan. But, you know, Banjo-Kazooie is, I mean, they haven't gotten a game in 10 plus years. Probably closer to 15. But yeah, no, the reasoning is because, yeah, one character was popular in one region, one character was popular in another. So people are speculating, like, hey, what if one character is like a big popular character like Crash Bandicoot? My personal prediction is Crash Bandicoot. But what if the other character is, I don't know, what, Waluigi or something? I know people would be excited for Waluigi, but like, what if it's something like that? Like, what if it's just some first-party Nintendo character that, like, people don't... What if it's another Fire Emblem character, right? By packaging them both in the same Direct, that would make, right, oh, well, I didn't like that, not Irma, Elma. I didn't like, let's say they reveal, let's say it's Crash Bandicoot and Elma from Xenoblade Chronicles X, right? People would be like, oh, well, I was excited for Crash Bandicoot, but I don't care about Elma, but because I got Crash Bandicoot, I don't care, right? So that's kind of people's like thing is like, hey, if one character is underwhelming, right? I love Byleth. Byleth is my main, even though I've never played Three Houses. But right, people really fucking shit on Byleth, and I don't even play Fire Emblem, but Byleth is my main, so I don't get it. Fucking Smash Bros. Fans. But yeah, my personal prediction is Crash Bandicoot. I'm still rooting for Doom Guy. I know, right, it's now, Bethesda's now owned by Microsoft, but this was probably a deal made before that deal, hopefully. I'm still rooting for Doom Guy. I just think it makes sense. I think it'd be cool combat mechanics by using not mercy kill, whatever the kill mechanic is, where like where you have ammo, you use up your ammo, and then you like do like kill, then you go in like once you've used up your ammo, and you can like use your attacks to like do like some damage to get more ammo. I think it's Glory Kill. Glory Kill is probably the right name. I think the Glory Kill mechanic would just work really well in Smash. I think that add an interesting dynamic to the character. And Crash Bandicoot just makes sense, you know. I don't know. And then Mii Fighter costume, I'm still hoping for Hollow Knight and Shovel Knight. Right, Hollow Knight I think would just be cool. Shovel Knight's in the game as an assist trophy, but hey, you could make him a Mii Fighter costume. I'd be fine with that. Because he's not... I would love for Hollow Knight to be a character, but it's never going to have... Or Shovel Knight to be a character. Hollow Knight would just be a cool DLC costume. Also, Quo from... Quo and... from Cave Story I think would also be a cool costume. Or even a character. Like, I'd love some indie representation, and I feel like the Cave Story character, even though I know Nicholas, the company that owns Cave Story, that stole it from Pixel, are just a terrible company that stole Pixel's game from him. Yeah. But yeah, those are my Smash Bros. Predictions. Animal Crossing, I think we're going to get the big 2.0 update finally. Because they really fucking need to do this. I don't know if it's going to be day and day. We didn't get a new update for June, I don't think we got a big update for June. We really need a new Animal Crossing update. We need the big 2.0 update, add in gyroids, add in Brewster, right? Like, Brewster doesn't save the game. Gyroids are a bit better. I think gyroids are a bigger deal than Brewster. That's how I'm thinking about it, is that gyroids are a big deal. Or bigger deal, but Brewster would also be cool, and people really want him, and there have been hints that, hey, maybe something with Brewster would finally happen, because there were some hints in the game for a while. Gyroids would also be... I know we have Lloyd, but, like, actual gyroids would be cool. Brewster, a museum expansion. Like, I loved in New Leaf, you could create your own museum. I'd love to be able to do that again. And, you know, maybe do a gyroid museum. Right? That's never been in the game before. I feel like a gyroid museum would be a big deal. That would add a lot of new things to the game. If I'd just been a better aim. Oh, wow, they scored on us. But yeah, and then the other big thing is I want new furniture. We have some furniture in the game, right? But there's like a bunch of furniture that's just straight up missing from new... Oh, we did win that one. Wow, we actually won one tonight, finally. But there is a lot of furniture from New Leaf that just isn't in New Horizons. And there's a lot of furniture in the Pocket Camp. Like, Pocket Camp gets all this cool shit. None of it's in New Leaf. Or none of it's in New Horizons. I think it's time for, like, a big furniture overhaul that adds in, like, hundreds of pieces of new furniture. Right? Because we've only gotten, like, at most, like, the average update comes with, like, 10 pieces of furniture. It's not much. So it'd be cool to get, like, a big furniture, like, update that... Right, finally get that froggy chair that people really want. But yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen, sadly. Also, I'd love new villagers. New Horizons only added in 8 new villagers. I still like the idea of non-binary villagers. That sounds really cool. And like add in like 4 new personalities, a bunch of new villager types, add in the Zelda villagers and the Splatoon villagers. But yeah, I love the idea. I love the idea of like non-binary villagers that add in like like I said, 4 new personality types, and just have fun with it. That'd be cool. But I don't know. Honestly, knowing how Animal Crossing has been handled so far, just isn't going to be an update. Or the update's going to be like, we're adding in Zelda items for Zelda's 35th anniversary next year, and as part of it, you can now bring in the Zelda villagers. That's going to be it. Just watch. Pokemon. So if we see Pokemon, whether we're probably going to see a little Pokemon. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus I'd rather see more of. And again, I'd love to see it on the Switch Pro. If we do see any of that, it's going to be in the Treehouse. We're not going to see any of that during the Nintendo Direct. Pokemon, much contrary to what some people have said, Pokemon does not show up in the Nintendo Directs. They do their own thing. However, they do show up in the Treehouse. They usually, like, I remember when Sun and Moon was revealed. It was Sun and Moon, and then after it was Sun and Moon was revealed in like late March, late May, early June-ish. Maybe I'm thinking of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But then afterwards, they were shown off in the Treehouse. And I would not be surprised if either Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Legends Arceus were shown off in the Treehouse. Maybe we actually get some like Legends Arceus. Of course, I hate that we know what gameplay looks like. I hate that we know that there is actual combat, like the traditional turn-based combat, because I would love for Legends Arceus to use more of like a Xenoblade system, or you know what I mean by that. But that's not gonna. God, we're in the worst fucking spot. Screw it, I'm going off. Yeah, I would love for it to use more of, or I guess Final Fantasy VII Remake also does like an active time combat system. I don't know, I would just love for Pokemon to switch it, because like, Legends Arceus is like baby steps, but I kind of wish they would just take one more baby step, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're not going to see that during the Direct, but we might see that during the Treehouse. We do know from the tweet that the actual Direct, I didn't say this earlier, but because of when Nintendo revealed their Direct is on Tuesday the 15th, they said the show will focus on software, or yeah, it's something like that. It will focus on software, which, you know, we'll talk about that at the end. It focuses on software. It will be 40 minutes long, which is not that long at all. Like, Microsoft's show is going to be 2 fucking hours. And it will, in the Treehouse afterwards, will be 3 hours. Normally, Nintendo for E3 does like 3 days of Treehouse. It's a single day that runs for 3 hours. So yeah, we are getting Treehouse, but we're not getting much Treehouse. I wonder if I have that tweet real quick. If I can just find the tweet. I might have saved it. Oh yeah, here we go. Oops. Hit the wrong thing. Tune in for June 15th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Tune in for the Nintendo Direct with roughly 40 minutes of info, focusing exclusively on Nintendo Switch software, mostly releasing in 2021, followed by 3 hours of gameplay and Nintendo Treehouse Live. And of course, everyone was like, focused exclusively on Nintendo Switch software, which we can... Nintendo's a bunch of fucking liars, but we'll talk about it. Again, I think it's true, but Nintendo's a bunch of fucking liars, and don't you forget it. No More Heroes 3 will probably get a trailer, and I think it's releasing in August. Again, it's not a big tentpole Nintendo game. No More Heroes 1 and 2 are actually coming to PC later, I think on like the 11th or something. It's right around the corner. But we're going to see something from No More Heroes 3. I don't know what else other than we're going to see some of No More Heroes 3. Mario Kart 9. I do think we're finally going to get Mario Kart 9. I know, right, a lot of people have been like, oh, well, Mario Kart 8's still selling so well. Why would Nintendo cannibalize the sales? But the thing they miss is that, yeah, a bunch of people, Mario Kart 8 is the best-selling game on Switch. But a big chunk of the people who bought Mario Kart 8 are gonna buy Mario Kart 9. So people will start double dipping. Like, no, that's a stupid fucking argument, and I don't know why we've let it carry on this far. Especially because, like, a bunch of people who already own a Switch are gonna buy a Switch Pro, but they don't expect people who already own Mario Kart to buy another Mario Kart. Like, what? What's that argument? Like, come on. So yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that, honestly. But that's how some people think, so yeah. It might also, right, Nintendo put out DLC 3 years later for Super Mario Party. It could totally just be like a big, massive DLC expansion for Mario Party or Mario Kart 8. That would also make sense, like a big $30 DLC that adds in 4 new cups, a bunch of new characters. My hope is still Nintendo Kart, right? Add in, we have Link. Have like a handful of like 12 Mario characters, like basically Smash Bros. Kart. Then add in Link, add in Zelda, add Ganon, and go with the Breath of the Wild incarnations because those are cool. Add in, Donkey Kong's already in it. Add in Ness, add in some Pokemon, add in Kirby. Have Kirby drive the star, have Dedede, Meta Knight, Marth, Ike, Samus, Ridley, Yoshi's already in the game. I see Mewtwo over. I'm looking at my amiibos right now. Inkling's already in the game. But yeah, add it. Just do a Nintendo Kart. Have an Olimar one. Or have one cart that is just a bunch of Pikmin. Right? It's just a bunch of it's like 50 Pikmin. Okay, 50's an over exaggeration. But it's like a bunch of Pikmin like on a cart. Right? And they're like steering the wheel. It's just like a bunch of really small Pikmin. I think that would be really funny, even though it's just going to be Olimar, with maybe some like Pikmin behind him. But yeah, I know Mario Kart 8 has cool kart customization. Maybe as part of it, focus on like adding in a bunch of new characters, but every character only can use one kart. I know some people won't like that, but I think that might be the right way to do it. Honestly. But yeah, I think Mario Kart 9, I just love it. Right? Add in a bunch of just a shitload of courses based on all different Nintendo franchises. Mario Kart 9. I think I want it to happen. That's because I know I finally bought Mario Kart 8. But come on, give us Mario Kart 9. Come on. I want it. I want it so bad. Next up, so let's talk about Monolith Soft, right? Like I said, Monolith Soft is working on Breath of the Wild 2. They're helping out anyways. We also know they are working on a new IP. Right? Monolith Soft is working on a new IP. We don't know anything about it, and this might be where we finally find out about it. What Monolith Soft's new IP is, that's totally possible. And that's the most likely scenario, is that we find out what their new IP is. I have no idea. The thing, though, I would expect is Xenoblade Chronicles X. Xenoblade Chronicles X came out on Wii U specifically, and I think maybe it's finally time, because, okay, so this is technically a spoiler, but I'm not going to be any more specific than this. The original Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U ends on a cliffhanger, right? The story ends on a cliffhanger. So, of course, when is X2 coming out? So I could see them announce it. I predicted this last year as well. They announced X2, and they slate it for next year. So X2 is coming maybe like, I don't know, let's say May next year. And then they announced that a port of Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming later this year. Right? So that we're getting X later this year. So people who want to play X can finally play X. But people who want X2, it'll be out next year. Right? So that way everybody who wants to actually play X is a complicated game. Like, some people really like it, some people really hate it. It's underrated is how I'll put it. I really enjoyed it, never beat it because I can't beat RPGs. But I liked X. The music is, some people really love the music, some people really hate the music. It's very weird, but I like it. And X is, yeah, I really like X. My prediction is also that X2 will not be called X2, it'll be X squared, right? X squared, math bullshit. But yeah, and I think we'll finally get the port of the re-release, remaster, whatever, of Xenoblade Chronicles X. I do think and that will be with Twilight Princess and Wind Waker and Xenoblade Chronicles X, I think that those will be the last Wii U games. I do not think, like, we're not going to, obviously we weren't going to get Nintendo Land, but I don't think we're going to get Star Fox Zero. I don't think we're going to get Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. I think X and the two Zelda games are our last Wii U games. Just makes sense. But yeah, the most likely scenario is that just that Monolith Soft is working on is going to show their new IP, and they may not even do that. That might still be young in development, and they may save that for a while. I don't know. We know, like, X is, because Monolith Soft both feels like a small studio, and yet some of the shit they get up to is crazy. The dream is Monolith Soft Pokemon game, but that's never going to happen. So, yeah. Next up, Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem came out, or Three Houses came out in 2018, I think. That's a long time ago. So I think it's finally time for a new Fire Emblem game. My guess is a Fire Emblem Echoes game. Specifically, either Path of Radiance or Radiant Dawn. Whichever one came. Those are Ike's games, right? Famously, those are some of the most... Well, those are not the most expensive games of all time, like collector stuff. For, like, casual, like, if you just casually wanted to pick up a copy of, like, let's say you played Smash Bros. And you're like, hey, this Ike guy's pretty cool. I wonder what game I have a GameCube. I wonder what game he comes from. Yeah, it's going to cost you about $500. Of course, emulation, because, yeah. But, yeah, the hope is that, hey, maybe we'll finally get Path of Radiance or, Radiant Dawn. Whichever one came first. I don't know. I just know they're super fucking expensive, and I'd love to get an Echoes of one of them. The other thing is that Echoes, Genealogy of the Holy War, which is like the third Fire Emblem game, I think, and I guess it has a lot in common with Three Houses, so people are optimistic about that. I don't know. My hope is still, though, because Path of Radiance or Radiant Dawn, I think it's Path of Radiance specifically. One was on the GameCube, one was on the Wii, and I know the GameCube one is fucking expensive. I'm assuming the Wii one is as well. That's just the hope. Will that actually happen? Who knows? Next up, I would not be surprised. So in the Epic versus, we talked about the Epic versus Apple court thing, where with Xbox Game Pass or Xbox xCloud or whatever. I would also, in the Epic Apple lawsuits, there was talk of Samus Aran coming to Fortnite, right? There's Aloy and Kratos are in Fortnite. Master Chief is in Fortnite. I would not be surprised if the Samus Aran stuff is true and Samus Aran comes to Fortnite. And it's and it comes out the same day as on E3. It's a shadow drop. Maybe, I could realistically see that opening the show. They open the show with Samus in Fortnite and end the show with Crash Bandicoot and Smash Bros. That I could totally see that happening. Because, again, I know a lot of, internet collective gamer dude bros don't like Fortnite. But that still doesn't change the fact that Fortnite's the biggest game in the world. I mean, yes, I know Minecraft is more popular and, yeah, whatever. Or Minecraft sold more or whatever, because Fortnite does a freemium game, but, Fortnite's bigger at the moment. What can I say? Yeah. So, yeah, I would not be surprised if Samus is in Fortnite. It just makes sense. There was that thing with the comic book recently. I know I saw, who was it? Was it Greg Miller was predicting, The Rock is coming to Fortnite. Not Smash Bros. The Rock is coming to, Dwayne Johnson is coming to Fortnite. That's also, yeah, no, he's probably, that one he's probably right on. My Samus thing is probably a little bit of a stretch, even though, again, there is evidence, but I could totally see The Rock coming to Fortnite. It just makes sense. So I guess let's talk about more, we're near the end here. But we're talking about Metroid. We're not going to see Metroid Prime 4. The game restarted development in either 2018 or early 2019. Well, that's been a while. It also hasn't been that long. I don't think we're going to see this game yet. I think it's still too soon. Maybe if we get anything, we're not going to get gameplay. It's going to be a CGI trailer, and we're going to get a release date of next year. Maybe even it's just going to say 2022, but it's going to be holiday next year. I do think we're going to finally see that game next year, But yeah, not this year. It's just too soon. Because it restarted development, and we know, and from job listings for Retro, we know they've been hiring a bunch of people. I still think, I think we're farther away from that game than people think. Because a lot of people expect to see it this year. It's not going to happen. And same thing with Bayonetta 3. Platinum Games says forget about it. It'll happen when it happens. And it's not going to happen now. I know part of people could be like, well, oh, maybe it's an ARG. It's an ARG. They're playing games with us. It's going to happen now. Now that we've finally given up hope. It's not going to happen. Give up hope. It's too soon. It's not going to happen. We're not getting Bayonetta 3. We're not getting Metroid Prime 4. If we do, because it is Metroid's 35th anniversary, as well as Zelda's. And I know Nintendo does not give a shit about Metroid. We know it. Again, we got lucky with Ridley. But Nintendo doesn't give a shit about Metroid. But it is possible that we get a 2D Metroid game. That Nintendo, for once, celebrates Zelda's anniversary by announcing a 2D Metroid game developed by Mercury Steam? And that, right, they did the Samus Returns remake, and I did not care for the Samus Returns remake. It was fine, but it wasn't my personal cup of tea. But I could see them doing... my hope is an original game. There were talks that, hey, what if they're remaking Super Metroid? Super Metroid is still fine. It doesn't need a remake. Metroid 2 definitely did. Super Metroid doesn't. It still holds up fine. I'd much rather see... Much like how that one studio did Metroid Zero Mission, and then they did Metroid Fusion. Mercury Steam did Samus Returns. Let them do their own thing. Let them make their own Zelda game. Maybe that could be good. So yeah, I'd much rather see Mercury Steam do a new Metroid game. But yeah. I don't think we're not going to get... I don't think we're also going to get Prime Trilogy. There was that thing about like, if the Prime Trilogy was going to happen, it would take a lot of work, right? Like, you couldn't just easily port over the Prime Trilogy. Of course, the thing is, the Prime Trilogy was rumored in 2018. The Prime Trilogy was rumored a long time ago. Maybe it was 2018. God, I don't remember anymore. That's, I think, the worst part, is I just don't remember. I think it was rumored in 2018. And they might have just delayed it because, again, Metroid Prime 4 got delayed. So it's totally possible that they delayed the Metroid Prime Trilogy, and they might just announce it now. I could see that happening. I don't know. We shall see, but I don't think it will. I don't think we're gonna get Metroid Prime Trilogy anytime soon. And then yeah, if I had an off-the-wall prediction, F-Zero. I still like the idea of an F-Zero Battle Royale game. That sounds like a lot of fun. God, how did he catch up to me so fast? Yeah, my off-the-wall prediction is F-Zero. I still think the idea of an F-Zero Battle Royale that has like 100 people racing on the same track, I don't think that's been done before, and I feel like that could be really good. Oh, we did win. Okay, I was like, wait, did we just lose? I feel like that just randomly ended. Oh, hey, look, I'm out in front for once. Yeah, a new F-Zero, that's my big prediction. A new F-Zero that does Battle Royale, 100 people racing on the same track. It works like F-Zero, where you can kick people off the track and they fucking explode and are out of the race. I mean, there maybe be like a story mode or something that like justifies like 100 people racing at the same time. I don't know, but it makes sense. You know, I like the idea of an F-Zero Battle Royale. I don't think it's gonna happen. And if Mario Kart 9 happens, F-Zero Battle Royale isn't gonna happen. And if, Mario Kart 9 would disqualify this from existing. Which is why I don't know, if Mario Kart 9 doesn't happen, I could see this happening. Again, Nintendo's killed off F-Zero, basically. They've killed off Chibi Robo. They've killed off Star Fox. They just don't know what to do. I mean, the fact that Ubisoft did their fucking Starlink, that was a better Star Fox game than Star Fox Zero, proves the point. I know people like Star Fox Zero, but fuck it. And then, okay, so let's talk about the Switch Pro. Last week we talked about all the Switch Pro rumors, and I was like, oh, it's gonna happen on Thursday, because that's what it was kind of looking like, and then it didn't happen, and it was like, okay, that sucks, but you know, there's always next week. I personally want the Switch Pro, because, again, my Switch is kind of broken. I can't play it for longer than an hour without it breaking, and while I guess I could theoretically send it into Nintendo for repairs, I know if I do, they wipe off my save data. And that includes games that I actually, like, give a shit about. But if I can transfer it onto a Switch Pro and then send it to Nintendo, well, hey, that solves all my problems. So yeah, that's why I'm hoping for a Switch Pro. August, September, October, probably October is my... I think no matter what, it is happening. I think the Switch Pro is happening. I just don't know when it's going to be revealed. Nintendo said in that tweet that they have no plans to show. It's just going to be exclusively software. Okay. And as everyone has pointed out, Nintendo has never shown like a console revision or specifically a handheld revision during a show, right? We looked at that graph last week about like, hey, this is when the thing was revealed. And then it was like, I think the shortest was like 20 days. The longest was like 70 something, right? So while yes, Nintendo has never shown a console revision at E3, and I think the last time Nintendo showed revealed a console at E3 was the Wii U in 2012. Because they showed the 3DS at 2011. They showed the Wii U in 2012, and yeah, I don't think they've showed anything since then. Because the Switch was revealed in October, and the Switch Lite was just one random like August day. Again, you can find. The Switch Pro, or the Switch Lite anyways, happened so recently that there's an in-chat episode that talks about the Switch Lite. I couldn't tell you which one it is. It was a Splatoon one. Most of them are, though, anyways. But yeah, no, it's totally possible that the Switch Pro, it's happening, it's just when does it get revealed? Because the hope was, the speculation is it's going to be on a Thursday. That's usually when Nintendo does shit like this, so the hope was it was going to be last Thursday. And then that didn't happen. So yeah, when does it happen? Who knows? Who knows? And you know, it could still... There is still a week until E3. It could happen. I just think it makes sense to have the Switch Pro, to reveal it, and then be like, hey, Breath of the Wild 2... running on Switch Pro, Pokemon Legends Arceus running on Switch Pro, right? And then have, like, during the Treehouse Live thing, have the Switch Pro in hand and be like, hey, this is what it looks like, and the gameplay you're going to see is from the Switch Pro, and hey, it's in 4K. Isn't that cool, right? Like, that would be a big deal. I don't know, I think that would be a good way to show this shit off, right? I mean, I know that's kind of like how CD Projekt Red showed off the fucking Cyberpunk 2077, but you know, it's possible. Nothing is out of the cards yet. But yeah, and just because Nintendo has never shown off a console iteration at a previous E3 doesn't mean they can't. I'm saying it's not going to happen. I'm just going to say Nintendo's going to reveal it on their own fucking terms. I think the Switch Pro is definitely a thing. Nintendo's going to reveal it on their own fucking terms. But WND, weird Nintendo decisions. Yeah, I think that was Andy Cortez. WND, weird Nintendo decisions. Nintendo's never shown off something at console revision at E3. Who's to say they can't this year? Right? And Nintendo is fucking liars. They denied the DSi's existence to I don't think it was Imran Khan or Jason Schreier, but it was some famous games analyst reviewer person. They denied it 2 days before they revealed it. Right? They lied to people's face about it. But hey, this is Nintendo. They do whatever the fuck they want. So yeah, no, anything is possible. I still think it's happening. I do still think it's happening, but it's not. Yeah, no, they're gonna reveal it on their own terms, and yeah, and it's gonna be hard as hell to find. It is going to be hard as hell. And then finally, my last thing is, like I said for Microsoft, I want a surprise. You know, that one last thing. I want some big surprise from Nintendo. I mean, I feel like everything we've said so far is like, yeah, no, of course that's probably gonna happen. I want something like a new IP would be like, oh, well, you can't predict a new IP because it's a new IP, right? And I don't know, Nintendo could do I don't know, Nintendo did a shooter, maybe they do a, like Splatoon was a shooter, ARMS was some weird fighting game thing, and I don't expect like an ARMS 2. That's too, I mean, an ARMS 2 would definitely be better, and it'd be a really good game, but nah, it's too soon. Maybe Nintendo takes on a survival game. Like, maybe they make their own version of, like, Ark or something like that. Because those were popular at one point, and, you know, Nintendo's a few years behind the trends. I don't know. It's fucking Nintendo. If they wanted to do Ark, they could do Ark. The only thing stopping them is, yeah, whatever. I don't know. Have fun with it, Nintendo. You're fucking Nintendo. Oh, I didn't even realize there was a freaking thing in the middle. I'm an idiot. But yeah, a new IP, just some sort of surprise. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. That'd be the hope. Oh my god, why am I doing so? Oh my god, somebody's already. We're not. I'm not making it to the finish line. The fact that somebody's already finished, and that we're still stuck back here. Yeah, look at one of our teammates just finished. Okay, we might still pass, but yeah, I'm doing terribly. Can we just? Okay, we can just hop through. Good. But yeah, just some sort of surprise. I'm sure. I mean, they're gonna show off some other shit like this. Who knows? This could maybe finally be the year they announce GTA 5. It's getting ported to to PS5 and Xbox. Who says it can't be ported to Switch? Because it could totally run on Switch. Maybe we finally see Persona 5. How did we? Oh my god, I have no idea how we finished in 20th. I think this is the first round, right? I don't know. But yeah, maybe this is finally the time we see Persona 5, because I don't know. I know Sega's not at any of these shows, but because we just had that Sonic thing. But yeah, Sega has Persona. Maybe they finally show Persona 5 on Switch, and maybe it finally also comes to Xbox and Game Pass. That'd also be a big fucking deal. Yeah, GTA, Fallout 4, Fallout 3, any Rare Replay would also be another big get that they'd show off at Nintendo's thing. I don't know, any number of things. Now, I do have one last prediction. This was for the entirety of E3, and this is one that I am with 100% accuracy will give. 100% I will be correct on this. And that is, people will be disappointed. We're going to see angry, right? There's going to be tons of, at all of these companies, at any of these companies, at all of them simultaneously, people are going to be fucking disappointed because we took a year off because of COVID. Yes, some games did release, but also not a lot of games released. So people have already gotten dangerous levels of hype. I know, right? Like, I think, who was it? Was it Arlo who made a video that was like, it's okay to be hyped? And yeah, it's okay to be hyped, but it's all about moderation, and the internet doesn't know moderation. Again, they would have died from a drinking problem at this point. But yeah, there's nothing Nintendo could do in this showcase could satisfy people. I've already seen, like, there are some people who are going into this being like, it is 100% confirmed we're going to see Metroid Prime 4. Yeah, we're not going to see Metroid Prime 4. This is dangerous. And I talked about a lot of shit today. And I maybe expect, like, 3 of them to actually happen. We're seeing dangerous levels of hype here. People are going to be disappointed. It is a fucking guarantee. That is 100% confirmed. People will be disappointed. right? People are going to be disappointed at Nintendo for showing just like 3 of the things I've talked about. Like, let's say, like, if only 3 of those things happen out of like the 2, almost 3 pages I just told you about, people are going to be disappointed. Microsoft shows off, let's say Halo Infinite gets delayed until next year. People are going to be super fucking disappointed, of course, right? Like God of War got delayed until next year, and Alana Pierce was getting death threats because of it. Yeah, no, people are going to be fucking disappointed. It's going to be a shit show. We took a year off, and you're going to realize why all this sucked and why Nintendo just releasing a tweet at like 10 o'clock being like, hey, here's the new Paper Mario was so much better. Right? I still believe that. After seeing how Nintendo did on just tweets for a year, I think it's better. Yep. That's E3 predictions. We talked about Nintendo for over an hour. This is the part where we do WIBE. I'm going to keep this... We're going until the end of the game. Whenever we get kicked out of this game, that's where we end. Yeah, probably. But let's real quick WIBE. I'm watching The Adventure Zone. I did not finish it. Literally, the second the clock ticked over to June 1st, I just stopped. Right? I've done 1 episode since then. I did 1 episode, that was them sneaking in. So right now, spoiler alert for up to episode, I think like 33 or something. Something like that. They go talk to the Demon Prince, Gray, about like, hey, guess what? We're on the same side now. And that was fun, right? Like, oh, hey, we're on the same side, and now we gotta go to destroy the Hog. We're gonna eventually have to destroy the school and all that. They go to the Hog. They meet Chef Mike. Oh, that was... So I'm a fan of, right, Achievement Hunter, Rooster Teeth, and it's like, oh yeah, I know who, right, and Chef Mike is like, right, I know, he does a lot of stuff there. I know he also did the Szechuan sauce thing, but I also forgot that he's a big D&D guy. Like, he's huge into D&D. So when they're playing it, it's like, oh fuck, Chef Mike? Really? Because is Laura K. Dale in Balance? I know, there's something to do with Laura K. Dale in the first season. And it's like, oh shit, that's cool. But yeah, no, Chef Mike shows up in Graduation, and it was like, oh, that's neat. And he sells the Fearboy poisonous scones. But yeah, they're trying to infiltrate the Hog. Argo gets a badge. They're like some shit goes wrong. Fitzroy loses his magic, and yeah, that's creating problems. And I've listened to like this entire week. I've listened to like 3 episodes. I've not gotten very far. Again, I was technically ahead of my goal of where like I needed to be by the end of the month. I was like a day ahead. But I was barely a day ahead. Like by the end of the month, I was like because there were some points where I was listening to like 2. I think one day I even listened to 3 episodes. The one thing I will also say I did was the Amnesty Halloween special. I think that happened since the last time. In the Amnesty Halloween special where they meet Dracula, whose name is what? Oh god, what was his name? Wasn't Mike. It was Dave or something like that. Dave Dehumidifier or Dave Bubidifier or something like that. That's Dracula's real name. That was really fucking funny. God, really? I'm all the way back at the beginning? Holy shit. Isn't there usually a checkpoint like... Oh god, I was like, oh, we're gonna do great this round, and then I got my ass kicked in this part. But yeah, the Amnesty Halloween special was fantastic. How it ended, I was like, oh, that's amazing. Right, with it, the way it ended, where you find out they're just all on drugs the entire time. Really fucking funny. Them going through the cave, befriending the 3-headed dog. Oh, I loved the Amnesty Halloween special. Right? The fact that it was not canon, so they could just do whatever they want. They brought Ned back, because for as much as Argo kind of drives me a little crazy, I love Ned. And yeah, seeing Ned again was like, oh, yay, yeah, I loved the Amnesty Halloween special. Pretty good. There is one more special coming up. That's like them doing like just ordinary people, like they're like monsters pretending to be like ordinary people. I just read the description. It's still like 2 or 3 episodes away from where I am. But I was like, this sounds amazing. Like, I don't know how good it's gonna be, but like, because there's like some of the Taz ones where it was like, this sounds great, and then it just kind of let me down. And like the Christmas one, the Fight Before Christmas, I did not give a fuck about. I was so bored. But yeah, the Amnesty stuff was great. And yeah, this new one, I don't remember what it was called. How do you screw that part up? My God, you're terrible. How have we gotten this far? But yeah, the Amnesty stuff looks great. Just Cause, I beat Just Cause 3. I like last time. So I was talking about, like, I have the mech suit, I had the electric gun, there was this jetpack. So I went around and got all the collectibles, and then I did the jetpack mission. I fucked up. If you're gonna play Just Cause 3, do the jetpack mission as soon as possible. Fuck that. It gives you a jetpack to use for your wingsuit. It is the best thing ever. Get the fucking jetpack. As soon as it's available, get the jetpack. Oh, God. I fucked. Like, by waiting till the very end, right before the final boss, I fucked up. Get the jetpack as soon as possible. The jetpack is so nice. It's so convenient. Get the jetpack. Yeah, I fucked up with that. I fucked up by getting it at the very end. But yeah, I beat Just Cause 3. The final boss was kind of underwhelming. But yeah, and I wonder, because it's like, where does the story go from here? Because with how Just Cause 3 ends. So, the whole plot of Just Cause 3 is you're going back to your home, like, island, right? The place where you grew up. You meet up with your best friend Mario. You go to Luigi's Pizza place at one point. No, seriously, that is a... You don't go there, but there is references to a Luigi's Pizza place. But yeah, the whole thing is that you're with your best friend Mario, and you're liberating because you're back on your home island, liberating your home island, right? That's the whole plot of Just Cause 3, right? It's personal now. Basically, the plots of Just Cause 1 and 2 are all leading up to Just Cause 3, which it's like, oh, it's personal now. You're taking your home island back, right? That just makes sense. So it's like, okay, if it's all personal now and you're taking back your home island, what the fuck is the plot of... Right, why is there a Just Cause 4? Just Cause 3 is a satisfying end to the series. What the fuck is Just Cause 4? Right, like, that's a decent question. What the fuck is Just Cause 4? The only thing I can figure is that in Just Cause 3, there is so in all the Just Cause, at least in 2 and 3, there's Tom Sheldon, who is like, he works for the American government, he's like an arms dealer, but he's also kind of like a dick, and he rats you out once or twice. He ends up not being the end-all traitor. Like, there's this other guy who ends up betraying you, but, right, Tom Sheldon's an asshole. And, right, there's hints that, and they basically, the villains flat out says it at the end, that, yeah, he betrayed you and that he killed your parents. So, like, the only plot I could see for Just Cause 4 is that you're finally going up against Tom Sheldon. Right? That the guy who killed your parents, he's finally your enemy. That would be the plot for Just Cause 4. Right? The American-backed asshole. That's the only thing I can see. Is that actually going to be the plot of Just Cause 4? I don't know. I don't know. I did download it. I do have it, but I did not download it or anything. The other thing I did was I have Dreams, the game Dreams, which we were going to talk about tonight, but we have been going for almost 4 hours. Yeah, we're not in this final round. Yeah, fuck that. We talked about E3 predictions for over 2 hours. Yeah, we're done. Yeah, I guess I could go for another 10 minutes, but nah. Because we were going to talk about Dreams, and we were going to talk about an anime tonight that I did watch, but we'll save those for next week. So I guess that leaves what's next as we wrap up here. When does the story... Okay, the story refreshes in a day. I think the achievements refresh in 5 hours, or 4 hours and 12 minutes. What's next? Minecraft update comes out on the Tuesday. We might try... I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of worried that... I'm not worried, but I'm suspecting that streams are going to be once a week. Every Friday, we're going to... And maybe I might start doing it in the middle of the day. But every Friday, we're going to do in chat, and it's going to be a few hours long. I mean, probably not as long as it was tonight. And that's just going to be the stream. We are going to do E3. E3 is whatever day, the 12th to the 15th. We are going to be doing E3. We're not going to do every show. We're probably just going to do Ubisoft, Microsoft's, with Bethesda's, Square Enix's, and Nintendo's. We might do Bandai Namco, we might do Capcom. I don't know, I'll figure it out. But as of the moment, that's just the plan. We're going to do those few shows, and yeah. And then I'm still planning on a weekly stream. We will be back next on the, because I think Jeff Keighley's thing is on the 11th, which is next Friday. Or maybe it's on the 10th, so we'll probably talk about that next week. Again, E3 is ramping up. We're finding out all sorts of things, and yeah. And the Switch Pro might be announced by next week. Anything's possible. But yeah, I think that's where yeah, I'd like to do more Minecraft. I really would, especially with the new update coming out on Tuesday. But, ooh, okay, wait. In Korea, Persona 5 Royal was passed by Singapore Microsoft at the Korean Game Management Expo. So Persona 5 Royal might be coming to Xbox. And I still think it should come to Switch. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, yeah, I'd love to do more, because again, so part of the thing is with the Minecraft thing, I was like, okay, I'm playing for a few hours and I'm kind of getting bored. I worry I'm doing a bad stream, right? I worry that the streams are bad. But I also like, okay, I'm getting to do this challenge. Hey, Matthew. You're coming in right as we're ending off. I'm wrapping up right now. But maybe another day. It happens. But yeah, I do think that with Minecraft, especially with that new... Part of me, I had to reevaluate. So, Game Champ 3000... who I've talked about before, and like they do all the crazy challenges. They're great. Go check. They did the Mario Odyssey jumpless run, but they put out a video about Smash Bros. Beating Smash Bros. Without spirits. They put over 150 hours, and it's like, fuck. They put 150 hours into that, and I can barely put 2 hours into Minecraft. Fuck. I'm a fucking failure at this. I just can't do challenge runs. Fuck me, I'm terrible. Why am I even doing this? God. I haven't put out anything on YouTube in like 2 weeks. Oh god, and Loki premieres next week. I think it premieres on Wednesday. I'm excited for that. Yeah, maybe I'll finally get something on the main channel again. But yeah, no, that got me thinking like, god, if they could put over 150 hours into just doing Smash Bros. Without spirits, and I can't put any time into Minecraft, like, what am I even doing here? Like, why am I even I mean, okay, immediately pardon me attempting the challenges because nobody else has done it. At least as far as I can. Again, I haven't found a video of somebody else doing it, and I tried. Okay, I did like an hour of research, and then, I got bored because, yeah. So yeah, it's just like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, really? Like, am I... God. But yeah, so that's definitely got... Seeing that has definitely got me thinking. But I still want to do it because I know it's possible. I know it's possible. I just can't. I just keep failing. And we just have terrible luck. Because like I said, the one time I tried off stream, everything went great. Right? And I found everything I needed in like 2 portals. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of other stupid stream ideas. I don't know if we're going to do anything. There's some games I've been wanting to play. I mean, I played Dreams finally, but there's some other games I've been wanting to play recently. But none of them I want to do on stream, and I just, oh god. This is my last weekend of freedom, and I'm going to get fucking... I wanted to have the Adventure Zone, at least Graduation, finished by this point. And then I just didn't listen to it for like 4 days. And I just finally got back to it today. So yeah, fuck. Yeah, I think that's where we should end off. We'll be back even if nothing happens, we will always be back Friday. Another in chat will always, no matter what, I will always find time for in chat. No matter what, In chat will always be here. We'll be back with Fall Guys, or I was considering doing Knockout City, but oh god, it'd be like me doing Overwatch. Honestly, Knockout City would probably be a fine in-chat game, but it's EA, and I don't want to support EA, you know? And it's not like I can do anything on Switch, fuck. Still playing Animal Crossing every day. I mean, we hit, what, day 500 in August? Yeah. Finally got a new painting, but I'm still missing, like, 15. God, I really was hoping. I'm complaining at this point. You know what? I'm ending off. It's almost. Oh god, we've been going for 4 hours. I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Till next time, peace.